What it do? What's going on YouTube? What's good? What's going on? What's good? Back at it on this Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Your boy. Apologies for being late. I was watching another show. You know what I mean? Just trying to get some information. So what's good with you, man? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So just on here, just trying to see what's good, man. You know, about to talk a little bit about the Diddy shit. I'm about to go in on this. I really want to go in on this. A couple of other things. You see what I mean? I got a couple of headlines, couple things going on, man. Yeah, man, Eric Adams indictment, all that. So, I mean, what's going on with this news cycle? What's going on with this the Biden administration? What's going on with these people, man? You know, yeah, this shit is wild. So, oh shit, my bad, y'all. All right, so yeah, man. So I wanted to just chop it up a couple things real quick. You know what I mean? Going on a couple things. Man, I came on here like kind of late, later than I anticipated. All right, so I'm about to talk about this new Puff, little P Diddy accuser. See what's going on with all that. Um, Very interesting type stuff. What up? What up? They do, Doc Boss. They really do. They really do need to go to jail, man. So, yeah, man. Hopefully they do. You see what I'm saying? Because the thing is, messing with these damn kids and stuff like that, man, these babies, man, that shit is wild. You know, that's my thing. Don't mess with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess with these kids. That's real. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna play a couple videos and shit, man. A couple things I want to talk about this man Adams indictment. All this is done under Biden's watch, man. I think it's very interesting. You know, really interesting how all this is done under Joe Biden's watch. You know. Hey, Shannon, what's up? What's up? What's good? What's good? Now come on in here. All right, so okay, yeah, so good looking out, y'all. Salute, Doc Ball Shannon in the building. All right, so all right, so yes, I wanted to see what's up with this whole Puffy accusers, right? See what's really going on with that. Or Diddy, whatever he calls himself, you know what I mean? But see, this is how I know this is something's up with this because this is Gloria Allred, right? This is one of the most racist prosecutors because she picks and chooses what cases she takes, and it's always rich athletes or rich entertainment black men versus like somebody like whiter. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's non-black. I noticed that. She don't never really go after white men. The only white man she went after was Harvey Weinstein. That's it. So that lets you know a lot about this lady. This lady is a crisis. I really think is like on some crisis actor type stuff from what I see. You know what I mean? All right, so fair use 1966 under the Copyright Act. This gives me allowance to report on this video for commentary purposes. 20 years ago, see, come on.
What a blood walker.
And I'm
that already lets me know they talking about something that happened to. I mean, I'm not, I'm not sticking up for this dude. I think all these, a lot of these celebrity Hollywood people is weird anyway. But 20 years ago, man, that's like sounds like the Bill Cosby thing. 20 years ago, yeah, you know, hmm. But see, how was there statute of limitations? The time where he hit who was it? Cassie. There was statute of limitations on that, but there's not statute of limitations on this. 20 years ago, yeah, something don't add up. So we're not talking about murder here because there's no statute of limitations on murder. We're talking about I don't know, attack. I don't know. Let's get into this real quick. 20 years ago, remember?
Combs claiming he raped her more than 20 years ago at a recording studio in New York City.
But 20 years ago, I mean, this is my thing. Why didn't you say something right then and there? Bam. You know what I'm saying? You knew he was rich and famous back then. Puffy was rich and famous 20 years ago. Why didn't you, Very interesting. She's like Gloria Allred is kind of like the white woman version of Benjamin Crump.
This is the KTLA 5 News at 1. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. The latest accuser held a news conference today after filing a lawsuit against Diddy.
KTLA 5 Samantha Cortese live now in Carthay with the details. Samantha?
Glenn and Lou, as Sean Diddy Combs sits in a jail cell in New York City, yet another woman has come forward with heinous allegations of rape and sexual assault. And she says it's all on videotape being passed around and possibly sold. The allegations are awful, and the alleged victim was deeply emotional and upset today here in Carthay, where she sat next to her lawyer, her attorney, Gloria Allred. Today, Talia Graves spoke publicly for the first time about the aftermath of allegedly being raped in a Bad Boy Records studio in New York City. This was in 2001.
That's a long time ago. That's over 20 years ago.
Attorney by her side, Graves filed a lawsuit in the New York Southern District. That lawsuit states the following. She was 25 years old, dating one of Combs' employees. Combs asked her to come into the studio.
Why didn't the person that she was dating, why didn't he make a big deal? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't he make a big deal out of it? You feel me? So he was just like cool with it, or why didn't you file a police report? Why didn't you tell the manager? Why didn't you tell security? It's interesting. I mean, an actual rape, so nobody heard. I don't know. Let's go.
With him,
where does this happen at?
And his security guard, Joseph Sherman. In the lawsuit, Graves states she remembers having a drink before she lost consciousness. And this is a trigger warning regarding sexual assault. Graves said when she woke up, she was tied up and being raped by the two men, Combs and his security guard, forced to perform sex acts that are too graphic to share. Graves explains the turmoil she says she had suffered since that night.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm.
Is this lady Indian? What nationality is this lady? Where's she from? She sounds like she has an accent. So is she from America? So Is she from here, or where's she from? Was she from here 20 years ago? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying discredit her or nothing. I'm just trying to question everything. You feel me? And when Gloria Allred's right there, I already know something's up. You know what I'm saying?
Caused by and during the assault.
Why is she reading something though? That's interesting.
Some of the hardest parts of this pain.
I guess most of the time when you publicly speak, I guess you gotta read something like this. But it's like, damn, I mean, like I said, if he's guilty of this, he needs to go down, he needs to get arrested, whatever he needs to see. No daylight. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, what if he's not guilty of this shit? And when this lady's right here, Gloria Allred gets in it, it's like, you got to watch out. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, man, it's not looking good for P. Diddy.
The shame and the guilt I have experienced that plays a negative part in my day-to-day ability to function properly. being blamed, questioned, and threatened has all made me feel worthless.
Graves in the lawsuit says that Combs threatened to ruin her life if she ever spoke about what happened. She says she suffered suicidal thoughts and went through years of therapy and was then triggered in November of last year when she learned there was a video of the, quote, horrific rape. She said that made her want to take her life again, but instead reached out and
well, if there's a video of it, let it come out. I mean, damn, I don't know. It's funny how the video came out and then she came out with. I mean, I don't know. Traumatic. I don't. You know what I mean? It could be hard. It could be. But you know, I just. You just got to just keep everything in mind. Question everything.
Is now joining dozens of other women and men who allege abuse at the hands of the disgraced media mogul. Graves is asking for damages to be determined.
To sue, but what about the justice though? What about? It's always about money.
Later in court, she is suing Combs, Sherman.
Didn't I just say suing? She's not pressing charges. She's suing. Interesting. This woman is not pressing charges, but she's suing him. Wow. Okay. All right.
Bad Boy Enterprises. Combs is already facing at least 10 lawsuits. The impetus for many people coming forward, many believe, is the longtime ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, when she came out with her civil lawsuit in 2023, which Diddy solved out of court one day later. But since then, many victims have come forward. I asked if Graves has spoken to any other victims. Gloria Allred said she would not be commenting on private conversations at this time. I also asked if Diddy had reached out to her because prosecutors in the New York federal case say that he'd been reaching out to alleged victims. Gloria Allred said she would not comment. Also, as you know, Combs is now in jail awaiting trial for federal charges, 3 of them involving sex trafficking and racketeering. Prosecutors say he used his business enterprise to create a criminal enterprise. In Carthage, Samantha Cortese, KTLA 5 News.
Your company's data ecosystem is complicated. There's an AI app that your marketing department uses but never told you about. There are new regulations to keep up with. Not to mention personal data sprawling across internal and third-party systems. It's hard to stay on top of data privacy risks.
Interesting. Suge,
hey, Suge, thank you for calling back.
But see, the thing is, look, like I just said, man, if he's guilty, man, get him. All these people, but we got to get the white ones too, right? We can't forget about the white ones that are in higher positions than Diddy and higher positions than all these people that are doing it, and nobody's saying nothing about that. We can't get Matt Lauer and people like that in media that got away with it. You know, what's the other dude? Kevin Spacey. What's the other cat? Who else? Les Moonves, the president of CBS. You know, these people that names that y'all not going to hear about. Why would you hear about them? Because they look like me. The people look. I mean, excuse me, because they don't look like me. Right? These people are successful European men. So I just think we pick and choose too much. We're like, oh, you know, instead of just getting all of them, we want to get the ones that we feel sad. I don't know, satisfied with, or the media tells us, or I don't know, society. I don't know.
Hey, I like to say this too, real quick. You got a woman that works for you is really incredible. You don't find too many people.
I thought you were about to implicate her in the investigation. I'm just glad you're not implicating Dusty in the investigation, Suge, because I can't take that.
She's not in the investigation.
All right,
but what I want to do for her is, I want to. And look, I got to do this for her, but I want to turn her on to this clothing line called Girls Mondays to Sunday. Girl Monday to Sunday, and I'm definitely gonna look out for it because I buy a lot of for a lot of.
So the liquor company is called Diageo. That's the liquor company that Puffy sued and won this year, but sued last year. That's the liquor company is called Diageo, right? So this could be all a part of that too. He just won $200 million from this lawsuit. So we got to pay attention to this too and be clear. You see what I'm saying? What the Puffy thing could be about too. He just won a lot of money from these people, man. So, and that's the biggest liquor distribution company in the world is Diageo. All right, it's owned by the Brofman family. Look up the Brofman family. Very powerful people, right?
People from that place. But look, what I was basically trying to say is this: I respect your show and respect what you're doing, but the most important thing is there's got to be a solution, because this has been going on in the industry for a whole bunch of years, for decades.
He is right. I do believe that what he just said, though, it's been going on for a while.
And at the same time, you know, nobody wants this to be true, and it shouldn't have to be true. But if we don't fix it and do something about it, history will constantly
repeat itself. Now, Suge, you said something early on that I want to get clarification.
You just cut him off with
clarification for the audience, Suge. You said early on, you can't just look at Diddy in isolation. You said this was done to him. He learned from others, and it was done to him, and then he did to others. To me, that sounds like what I hear when people are talking about abusive situations, you know, hurt people, that someone was sexually abused, they wind up being a perpetrator. Is that what you're suggesting about Sean Combs, that he was sexually abused and he now sexually abuses?
Oh, don't say that. Don't insinuate that about a black guy, that he's mentally distressed or has trauma or he's been molested, or don't say that, because, you know, that's not a good enough thing, because remember, we have to keep the premise that he's just a predator naturally. We can't give him any kind of empathy and sympathy and say that he has trauma-based programming. We might be able to do it to a female, maybe, but not a black male. That's for damn sure. But we definitely can do it to white males. That's why, or they do it to these white males that do those, you know, school, you know what. So interesting. They don't want to do it to you, somebody that doesn't look like that and that doesn't do that. You see what I'm saying? So the media plays a big part in this. You know what I mean? The media is a propaganda arm of the government. You know what I'm saying? But Suge Knight, see, you know, Suge Knight hasn't fucking interacted with Puffy in 20 plus, probably 30-something plus years, but then they're going to get his opinion. It's just very interesting how they do it. I mean, I don't really know what, he's right about the industry and stuff, but what really does any of this have to do with, I don't know, but I just think it's crazy how a girl really was charging him for something that happened 20 years ago. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Or nothing like that with victims and stuff like that. I know it's trauma, I know it's shame and all that hurt, but damn, I just don't. Well, what about the boyfriend? You know, why didn't the man come up? I don't know. Let's go back. Let's go into this.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think he repeat what was done to him. And like I said, if you look at Russell Simmons, you know the truth. Andre Harrell, you know the truth. Clyde Davis, you know.
You know what, Andre? I never heard nothing about Andre Harrell, but I heard about some shit with Clive Davis. And I heard some shit with what's the other dude? Quincy Jones. I heard some weird shit with him too. But I guess, man, maybe some shit with Andre. Who knows? And some ritualistic type stuff these people do. And why do they always wear shades and glasses, like sunglasses, in like indoors? What's that all about? Why do they always wear shades and glasses inside?
You know the truth. Give me Bean, you know the truth. So there's not certain things that all of a sudden you got this. The industry is a quick business.
It is.
It's been like that for a long time.
I agree, though.
And the casting couch is real, but
you know what? I agree. I think that is real too.
It's for women and men. But far from all that, I think the most important thing is I feel like they should let Puffy tell his truth. I'm quite sure he's going to expose a lot of people. I'm sure he's going to move forward with it. But I don't think it should be a situation like the Epstein thing where they found him hanging from the ceiling or dead before the truth come out.
Do you believe
I think
that
the truth needs to be...
Do you believe that Diddy is in danger in prison? And do you have...
He's not in prison. He's not in prison, man. See, that lets you know, honestly, when I keep hearing stuff like this from the media, it makes me question, is he really locked up? What's really going on? Because I mean, that's kind of like, and they hit you with misinformation and all this shit, but that's misinformation or whatever they call it, disinformation. He's not in prison. He has not been found guilty and contrived yet. Has not taken a deal, man. He has not been. You don't go to prison when you still have pending charges. It don't work like that. Trust me, man. It does not work like that. I don't know why people saying that is he really locked up? Prison? He's not in prison. He's in jail. Jail's the first step, then prison's the second step. That's how that works. It doesn't work the other way around.
I have advice for him based on what you just said.
Like, what's up with this shit? Like,
well, the first advice I have, I don't never want to say he's in danger, and neither should he say that. Because once he gets to the point where
I was thinking the same thing.
He feels he's going to be suicidal to himself, harmful to himself. Once they put him on suicide watch, you have the rights to nothing. No socks, no drawers, no T-shirt, no blanket, no sheets. You so naked in a cell as a crazy man. So he definitely don't want to do that. And the other advice I would tell him, maybe he should get on the Jewish diet. Because the kosher meals is way better than the food somebody else is making for you. At least they're going to come hot. They're going to come sealed, and you got to be the one to open them. That's very important.
What about people trying to hurt him?
Go to jail. I mean, one of the things is this. I don't care who you are. Prison and jail is a negative environment. True. Somebody can do something to them and get a name for themselves. They're going to actually do it. Or they can do whatever they feel they got to do.
I mean, he has to be under some kind of protective something, right?
To prove themselves.
Ain't got him on no main fucking line, no jail. You know what I mean? Isn't that like a federal jail?
But we also got to learn. We got to learn from our mistakes.
Okay.
Everything don't have to be a mistake. You got to better yourself.
Right.
But we all know what we sign up for in life. So if I sign up to be a football player, I knew I'm going to get hit and I'm going to hurt some other too. If I signed up to be in the music business and the entertainment business, if you fight for right and being a black man, there's certain things you got to look at for the challenges. If they can't take the money from you, they take you from the money by putting you in prison. That's a fact. In Puffy's situation, he should go and get his time out the way. Not no life sentence. If he can get a lesser time, he should jump on it because he had a great run. I'm in prison right now. I had a great run. So I don't go mad. I don't wake up mad. I've been locked up for 10 years, and I ain't had a bad day yet. And it's a lot of things we can do to help each other, and it's never too late for help. God bless us to have a voice. Let's use our voice. I had told Puffy a while back. I told TD Jakes a while back. Come on, collect calls. We can politic. Because one thing for certain, one thing for sure, he's just not going to walk away with one scratch on it.
Do you think that Diddy?
He can do so.
Do you think Diddy knows enough that it's a very delicate balance that maybe investigators will want to know these other names and greatly reduce his exposure to criminality to time versus what people would do to keep him quiet?
Number one, I've been knowing him a long time, and we was friends. We're not enemies, but we were friends.
See, that shit was staged, dude. Because I thought they swore that them motherfuckers were the biggest enemies, man. You know what I'm saying? I thought they had beef all those years, all that East Coast, West Coast. See that shit? You got to be careful, man. A lot of the stuff be staged, man. It be for whatever agenda that they're trying to set. Hold on. I'm telling you. So now they talking about Diddy's kids are speaking out.
Sean Diddy Combs and Kim Porter's children are speaking out after an alleged memoir claiming to be written by their late mother, who passed in 2018 from labor pneumonia, was released. The former couple's children, Quincy Christian, Jesse, and Delilah, took to Instagram Tuesday to blast it. We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. The shared statement began, adding, "Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. Additionally, please understand that any so-called friend speaking on behalf of our mom or her family is not a friend, nor do they have her best interests at heart. Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah went on to describe their lives as being shattered when they lost their mother, saying she was their world. Nothing has been the same since she passed. While it has been incredibly difficult to reconcile how she could be taken from us too soon, the cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process. And we ask that everyone respect our request for peace as we continue to cope with her loss every day.
Right.
Their shared statement concluded by asking people to respect their mother and hold her legacy in high regard, as they said, "We are deeply saddened that the world has made a spectacle of what has been the most tragic event of our lives. Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories. We ask that everyone please respect our mother, Kim Porter, and hold her legacy in high regard so that she may rest in peace. It's what she deserves. We love you and miss you, Mommy." The contents of the alleged memoir titled Kim's Lost Words are allegedly obtained diary excerpts. There are shocking allegations in the book, which have been making rounds on social media, with people posting about some of them.
I read Kim Porter's tell-all book on Sean P. Diddy Combs, so you don't have to, and I'm going to paraphrase it for you. He's like, "Please, I want you to do that to me again." And she's kind of like, "Sean, no, like, I don't want to do that again." And then she kind of makes a sly comment because he's like, "Oh, like, I want you to blank me like that again." And then she goes, "Isn't Clive the one blanking you?" Clive Davis, implying that Clive is blanking him. And then he slaps her hard. And before she can even react, he's like on the floor being like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
Though Kim and Diddy's children insist on the book being false.
How do we know even how do we even know? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'll tell you. Let's go. I wouldn't be surprised though.
Publisher Chris Todd told people in a statement, "Do you think Chris Todd would risk his ass and rep
Clive Davis is a weirdo, man. They all weirdos.
On something that was fake?" Meanwhile, the rapper's lawyer, Erica Wolf, stressed to Access Hollywood that it is fake and offensive, calling it a shameless attempt to profit from tragedy, and added, "Chris Todd has no respect for Miss Porter or her family who deserve better. Unlike the fabrications in his sickening, quote, memoir, it is an established fact that Miss Porter died of natural causes. May she rest in peace." Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah's public statement comes just over a week after their father was arrested in New York on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He pleaded not guilty and was denied bail.
But what's the racketeering part? What are they trying to? What is he trying to make it to a criminal enterprise? What is he having them sell pussy? I'm confused. Are they doing it for him or themselves or what? I don't know. Very similar charges to R. Kelly, I'll tell you that. All right, so as we can get off the P. Diddy, man. You know what I'm saying? Really, wow. They talking about Justin Bieber and all this, you know what I'm saying? Wow, it's just really they just talking to anybody connected to this mug, you know what I'm saying? Like very interesting. All right, so let's go on to the what's his name? We're going to talk about Eric Adams right now being indicted. Damn, that's kind of a big deal right now. Under Biden administration, all these people getting indicted under Biden's administration. Nobody's saying nothing about it. Knowing damn well if that was a Trump administration, people would be saying some shit. All right, so let's see. Right, hold up, y'all. Very interesting how that works. Hold up. All right. So okay, let me get into this real quick and triple. Let's see. Hold up. All right, let's see. Let's see what this story right here. So it's supposed to be a courthouse explosion. Interesting. Interesting. Hold up.
Explosion at the courthouse, whether or not there was an incendiary device or something that would create more flame than kaboom, if you will, just to put it in layman's term, is not exactly clear yet. 2 people have been hurt. They have non-life-threatening injuries, according to the sheriff's office. This is happening in Santa Barbara County in California. And the big question now is, was this individual trying to target a specific courtroom, a specific judge? Was there a legal proceeding going on, or one of the parties in a specific case that they were going after? Or was this more about making a political statement? So it's just too soon to say. This all happened just before 11 a.m. Pacific time today. And right now, authorities are trying to investigate it. Our colleague Andrew Blankstein, who covers law enforcement in this part of the country, just messaged me and said that there's now a 5-block perimeter around that courthouse. They're going to search the vehicle and try to determine whether or not there are either weapons or additional explosives inside this suspect's vehicle. So that's the latest as far as the investigation goes. And obviously, this will continue to unfold.
Tom, can you help us understand what kind of security is typical at a courthouse like this? Because just last week, we saw a judge shot and killed in his chambers in Kentucky.
Right. And that was by a local sheriff. So that makes it even more difficult, because that's somebody who has a lawful reason to bring a gun into a courthouse. That's their role. In this particular instance, I think that's the big question, is where exactly did this explosion take place? And then did it take place at a specific checkpoint, or were they able to get past security? Now, it really, once you go to the state level, it varies courthouse to courthouse, county to county across the country. So some allow you to get in, at least have access to the public records, make your filings and do things like that. Other courthouses say, look, before you even can get in and use the bathroom, you got to go through a metal detector and you got to be searched. And so that'll all come out here in the course of this investigation.
All right, Tom Winter, thank you.
Tom Winter. Interesting. Oops. All right, man.
Dramatic new video showing the moments a bombing suspect was taken into custody after an explosion at the Santa Maria courthouse. It happened this morning at about 9.
Notice how they take it. They take him in alive, though, right? You know, they take him in nice and healthy, alive. Make sure he's good. You know, they probably, you know what I mean? Make sure he's fed. You know what I mean? Give him a smoke. All that. Make sure he's straight. Don't harm no hair on his body, right? Don't harm no. That's crazy.
9 a.m. The suspect was wearing body armor when he was caught running toward his car. Investigators believe an explosive device was intentionally set there at the courthouse.
I guess because you're running away from the explosion or something.
The entire complex was immediately evacuated. Authorities say at least 6 people were hurt. All were treated and then released from the hospital. Closer to home, the LA County Sheriff's Department is beefing up patrols at local courthouses in LA just as a precaution. We are getting a look now at
right. Interesting. So a judge got shot in his chambers. Let's see how that. Okay, judge. And they said by a deputy. Damn. It's, interesting. I didn't hear this on the news. Did y'all hear about any of this on the news? Did y'all hear about any of this on the news? All right, man. It's fair use 1976 under the Copyright Act. Julian Coltrane was good. This gives me copyright act. This gives me allowance to report on this video for commentary and educational purposes. Then he shot a motherfucking judge in his chambers. Golly.
The things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business.
We ride our video monitors to Kentucky, and that's a mugshot. A local sheriff you see right there is behind bars right now, accused of shooting and killing a judge inside that judge's chambers. CBS News correspondent Omar Villafranca joins us now. Omar, that sheriff is now facing murder charges. What a story.
How come you don't hear the politicians talk about stuff
That's
like
right.
this?
And let me kind of set the scene here.
No.
This happened in Whitesburg, Kentucky, which is about 145 miles southeast of Louisville. Letcher County is where it happened, and the Letcher County sheriff is Sean Steins. That's the mugshot you saw there. He's charged with first-degree murder after investigators say he shot and killed Judge Kevin Mullins. Now, the local paper there, the small paper, the Mountain Eagle, says the sheriff walked into the courthouse and then into the judge's office and actually told the judge's staff he needed to speak with the judge privately, so the two went into his chambers and then closed the door. The paper says that's when people heard gunshots. And they also mentioned that the sheriff walked out with his hands up and was arrested. The judge was shot multiple times and responders tried to save him, but he died. Now, here's the thing. We don't know a motive yet. There are a lot of rumors swirling, especially in a small town, but nothing concrete. But we do know that based on court paperwork, there was a 2022 case in which a woman sued, saying a local deputy coerced her into sex acts in exchange for leniency on her punishment. And those acts took place in Judge Mullins' court. Now, Sheriff Steins, we want to be clear here, was not named in that suit as someone who was part of the assaults, but he did fire that deputy and was actually deposed earlier this week. So right now, we don't know a motive. A lot of things swirling around. There's an arraignment next week. We'll find out exactly what happened and why, hopefully next week. Reed?
All right, Omar, we know you'll be on it. Thank you so much.
Turn Black Friday e-commerce madness into your products practically selling themselves with OmniSend. Get OmniSend. Email and SMS marketing so good, it's boring.
All right, I'm going to call the case of Commonwealth versus Sean Steins, 24F 147, Letcher District Court. Is the Commonwealth present?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Judge Ramsey Dallum on behalf of the Commonwealth.
And Jackie Steele also on behalf of the Commonwealth, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And I see the defendant, is that the defendant at the Leslie County Detention Center?
Yes, Your Honor.
And who's standing next to him?
I'm Josh Miller, public defender of the Capital Trials Branch.
Danny Clark, jailer, Leslie County.
All right, thank you. And has the defendant filed a petition for indigency?
Not at this point, Your Honor.
Okay. And what about the Commonwealth? Does Commonwealth want to make any statements before I proceed with arraignment?
No, Your Honor. Other than I don't know why Mr. Miller is present. If he's not filed out an agency paperwork, his office has not been appointed. I don't know that he has any reason to be here as in an official capacity as an attorney.
Right. Mr. Miller, do you believe that he's entitled to a public defender at this time?
I do, Your Honor.
And why is that?
This is a capital eligible case, and I believe that the cost of defending ethical defense of a capital eligible case will exceed his means.
Wow.
Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Steele?
I would, Your Honor. A couple of things. One, I believe what he's telling me is that he's been out soliciting a client, which is obviously not allowed under our ethical obligations as attorneys. Two, even if he hasn't, if he has and he's been out trying to discern how much his financial capacities are, he's wasting state resources without an appointment. And this court is the party that appoints an attorney, not DPA, whatever division, just because they think he's going to need one.
Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Miller?
Your Honor, in cases like this, it is essential that a defense investigation start immediately. And I haven't solicited anything, but advised Mr. Steins of his rights. And if the court appoints us, we will represent him.
Is he still the sheriff of Leslie County?
At this point, I believe so. Letcher County.
Letcher County, I'm sorry.
Judge, I can't speak to that, and he currently is still the sheriff of Letcher County.
That's crazy. That's sad, man. You know, it's like they're not even like the way they acting about it, like nonchalant, like just casual. Like, didn't he just shoot a judge and kill a judge, dude? Right. Very interesting. They just like whatever, like it's another day at the motherfucker. Right? Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't think he would qualify as an indigent defendant.
What was the reason why he killed the judge? You know what I'm saying? There's no, like, it's just they report on it and that's it. What happened? What's the backstory? Who's the relationship? It's like, that's that. Okay, I'm guessing. Keep myself guessing and suspicion over here. Right? What happened? Where's the detail? Where's the
Well, sir, we're happy to, or Mr. Stein just have to put any paperwork, file anything that would help the court make that determination. Obviously, the court is the one that appoints us.
Has he filed an affidavit for indigency?
Not at this point, Your Honor.
All right, we'll proceed with formal arraignment. Are you Sean Steins?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be used against you. Have your silence can't be used to find you guilty.
why would the
County
judge-
attorney must prove your guilt,
Hold.
or the Commonwealth must prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
Why is the judge reading him his rights? I'm confused.
You have the right to call witnesses on your behalf. You have the right to cross-examine witnesses called against you. You have the right to a speedy public trial by a jury of your peers. You have the right to.
You know what? No, they do. That's the protocol. My bad. That part. That's that's true. My bad. I act like I never been through that. Sorry.
Attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, I'll appoint one to represent you. And you have the right to appeal any decision that I make. You're charged with murder, a capital offense here in Kentucky, a Class A felony, punishable by 20 to 50 years in prison, 25 years to life in prison, 25 years to life without the possibility of parole, and the possibility of the death penalty. Do you have an attorney, Mr. Steins?
I have not hired one.
Have you tried to hire an attorney? Have you spoken to any attorneys about taking your case?
No, sir.
And are you telling me that you don't have the means to, do you not have the means? Do you own a home?
Yes.
Do you own any other real estate?
Got a place in Tennessee, but I still owe for it with the bank.
Yeah, do you know how much equity you have in your own home?
My home and my property is paid for.
And do you have an estimated value of that real property?
I think the PBA's got it on for about $45,000.
And what's your income?
It's based on statute. I think this year it was going to be 115,000.
Do you have money savings?
That's not bad. Damn.
Bank,
especially living in Kentucky. Shit. 150,000 a year and living in Kentucky. Wait, not too bad.
Counts.
I had the chickens. Sir, it's my understanding that he's in the process of losing his job as a sheriff of Letcher County, obviously, and will not have income going forward. His family is not prepared for this eventuality. And again, I think the cost of defending one of these cases can reach well into this several $100,000.
Didn't this dude just kill a judge? It's just mad calm. It's like traffic, like
You're entitled to, since you're charged with a felony, you're entitled to have a preliminary hearing within 10 days from the date of this arraignment. Do you believe you'll be able to obtain counsel to represent you on these charges within those 10 days?
I hope so. It's kind of hard, where I'm at, have contact with people I need to.
That it is going to take a considerable amount of money to retain an attorney to represent you on this capital offense. However, I don't believe you do at this time qualify as for public assistance due to the fact that you aren't indigent. However, based on the circumstances of this case and the fact that we do need to have a preliminary hearing within 10 days, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you for the limited purpose of assisting you at your preliminary hearing. If and when this case does proceed to circuit court, the circuit court may require you to hire your own counsel. Do you understand that, Mr. Steins?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Wow. Yeah,
I'll enter. Does he want to enter a plea at this time?
Your Honor, you would enter a plea if not guilty and request a date for preliminary hearing.
Damn, you're not guilty.
We'll set the preliminary hearing next Tuesday, October the 1st at 1 o'clock in West Liberty, Kentucky.
I asked a question. You know what I mean?
Excuse me, Your Honor, we said October 1st at 1 o'clock.
Yes, October 1st at 1 o'clock in West Liberty, Kentucky at the Morgan County Judicial Center.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else before we adjourn this hearing?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Just one thing, Judge. I do have one thing, Judge, just for clarification. In regards to transportation for the defendant, how would the court prefer? I don't care to do an order for that to be done.
I was thinking that we would have the state police post a transport if they would.
Very interesting.
I don't know.
My bad. Let's see. Interesting. We'll follow up on that story. So we're gonna go into Eric Adams.
Good evening. I'm Byron Pitts in New York. We have breaking news this evening. New York Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury, according to sources familiar with the matter. Let's go straight to senior investigative correspondent Aaron Kontersky on the phone with the very latest. Aaron, what can you tell us?
Byron, we just heard a statement from Mayor Adams saying, "I always knew that if I stood my ground for New Yorkers, that I would be a target, and a target I became. If I am charged, I am..."
Coming to the country and having your state being or not your state, but the state that you run, my bad, the part of the state, which is New York City that you run, letting that be an asylum seeking place. And asylum seeking can only be them going to the next neighboring country, not just skipping 5-6 countries just to come here. You know what I mean? That's not how it works.
Am innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of my strength and spirit. A statement of defiance a moment ago from Mayor Adams to ABC News after word came that he has been indicted by a federal grand jury in New York. Byron, this follows a 10-month investigation into corruption. It began with an investigation into the mayor's fundraising from his 2021 campaign and whether his campaign took illegal foreign money, particularly from Turkey, in exchange for official favors by Eric Adams. And the investigation has more recently ballooned into a broader corruption inquiry involving some of his top deputy mayors and others in his inner circle.
And we all recall that months ago, I think authorities seized his phone and members of his administration. Is this part of that investigation?
It is, and it was a highly provocative step back in November when federal agents stopped a vehicle outside an event where the mayor had been speaking. They asked his driver to step aside. Federal agents got in the car with him, and at that point seized his electronic devices that were on his person. The mayor subsequently turned over other electronic devices, and in more recent weeks, The feds have raided the homes of 2 deputy mayors. They've seized the phone of the police commissioner, the schools chancellor, both of whom have resigned. It's not immediately clear whether anyone else has also been indicted along with the mayor, but a number of people in his top echelon of the administration.
This is under Joe Biden's watch, though. This is under his administration. All this is going on. Now, a lot of people was getting fired under the Trump administration, but what's going on with this, though? This administration, people are getting indicted, charged. Marilyn Mosby, who's the other one? Fani, him. What's the other one? The fake Kamala one? Something Lee. I forget her name. Something Ayanna Lee or something Lee. And Atlanta, she just got in trouble, got her indicted too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these politicians, especially supposedly the black ones, are what's up with these black politicians getting indicted or getting arrested or getting charged with something, you know what I'm saying? Or accused. Like, that's really interesting. Under Joe Biden's administration, is Joe Biden going to pardon any of these people? Hell no. Is he going to pardon Marilyn Mosby? No, he ain't going to pardon no Marilyn Mosby.
Had become subjects of the investigation.
Give us some context about this. These are federal charges against the sitting mayor of the largest city in the United States, New York City. How significant is
it? See, they had his black, that's when they turn on you. They had his black butt over here caping and over here mandating people and doing all this, you know what I'm saying? Bringing people here from other places and replacing people, but yet look how to use them. He went against us. He went against black people. He went against other so-called races. He went against a lot of people, man. And look what's happening to this guy right here. Do I feel bad? No, I don't.
Is this, and
but do I wish jail or anything on anybody? No.
How deep will this go? Do you think?
So.
New York has a long and storied political history, some of it rife with corruption, Byron, but never before has a sitting mayor ever been charged with federal crimes. Mayors have been charged after they've left office, like Rudy Giuliani most recently, because of his.
Just like how they was getting on Trump. The first sitting president with 34 felonies. Was the first sitting mayor that got indicted. They usually get indicted after they get out of office. Fumble.
Entanglements with former president.
We pick and choose, man. I'm not for the Democrats or the Republicans. Look what he's throwing up. Look at he throwing up that triangle right there. I'm not picking and choosing, but he's showing you who he's down with, what allegiance he's down with.
Trump, but a sitting mayor of
the hand signs these people throw up.
New York has never been charged with a crime until now. Adams has stacked his administration with a number of loyalists, with people who he is known from his days as a police captain, a number of high-profile individuals, including his chief counsel, had advised him that perhaps he wanted to jettison some of those people, but he has always remained steadfast and loyal. He has said he has done nothing wrong, and he has known of no wrongdoing in the ranks of his administration. Federal prosecutors, Byron, clearly tonight disagree.
I mean, certainly we'll hear along with the mayor what these charges.
These are all Democrats getting charged. These are all black Democrats getting charged under a Democrat administration. They don't want to talk.
Are tomorrow, but talk about Mayor Eric Adams. He was someone in the Democratic Party seen a few years ago just as a rising star, as you said, a longtime police officer in New York City. He walked the streets. He was a beat cop, rose to captain, and so many saw his ascension to mayor's office as this fast-moving star in the Democratic Party that all now seems at best in jeopardy, if not over.
He was touted as the new face of the Democratic Party, someone who could be tough on crime, but also sympathetic to many of the social issues that are many more liberal New Yorkers hold dear. And it was an interesting field from which he emerged. A number of those on the left he was able to defeat, arguing that they weren't going to be tough enough to deal with the city. And he faced a Republican opponent in a talk show host who never was able to garner enough public support. And he ran on a platform of getting stuff done. Of late, he has changed the way New Yorkers take out the trash by making a lot of garbage go out on the curb later so rats don't get to it. He's ordered businesses to get garbage cans with lids. And he has also tried to steer the city through the end of the pandemic, which has, I think, probably hurt his stated agenda a bit as the city, had to recover financially and also had to, deal with what had been a rise in crime.
An historic night in
That's
New York
what I'm saying.
politics.
Yo,
As you said, Aaron
Maximilian, that's what I'm
Katursky, thank
saying.
you
How
so
we
very
know
much.
he's in jail?
We now go back to
Because-
ABC News
you know,
Live
you know,
Prime in
it's
progress.
suspicious because they keep saying he's in prison, dude. You don't go to prison. You go to jail first. You don't go to. Yeah, man. See, that's false. That's fake. That's false information. Oh, he's in prison. He's not in prison. You know what I'm saying, Maximilian? That's what I'm saying. How we even know he's in that mug? The indictment is a sideshow to take away attention from the real problems that man should be front and center in it that face that damn city of New York. All right, so we're going to sorry about that. Let's go into Marcellus Williams, man. That's messed up how they did him like that. Hold on. Oops. What's the name? Marcellus Williams, man, the innocent man that they killed yesterday, man. Sad. Well, I don't want to do CNN. No, I don't trust CNN. Hold on. Let me play this clip real quick. My bad. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. You mean to tell me this commercial was on? Sorry about that, man. I already know you. Damn, YouTube might get me for that. Or did it play it in? Sorry, man. Damn.
Despite prosecutors, Williams's family, and even the family of Gail pleading to spare Williams's life. Now that did not happen. And tonight, a last-ditch appeal to the Supreme Court was rejected with the 6-3 vote falling along ideological lines. A devout practicing Muslim, Williams' last words were, "All praise be to Allah in every situation." The man's last meal, chicken wings and tater tots. And at 7:01 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, Marcellus Williams was given the lethal injection of the sedative pentobarbital. And 9 minutes later, he was pronounced dead.
That's fucked up.
At one point, he appeared to wiggle his feet, which were underneath a white sheet that's pulled up to his neck. moved his head slightly. Then I could see his chest heaved about a half dozen times.
Look how sick these people are. These motherfuckers act like this a fucking T-Rex. You know what I mean? They act like it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like they put down a dog or something, or like they put down a lion or something, you know? Oh, his feet was wiggling, and then, you know, come on, look, they only dehumanize black people like this. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but they only do us like that. They only put us in this kind of light. They only put us in this kind of, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't notice that? Really? Y'all describing his death like he's an animal or something. Oh, and he twitched his left eye, and like, what the fuck? Wow. Dehumanize him. And this is CNN, by the way.
I didn't see any movement.
Did any, did any of y'all motherfuckers try to transition to stop this? So you mean to tell me the defense, the prosecution, and the so-called people that he killed's family was pleading not for this man not to die, and they still killed him? Interesting. That's why the law is against us. This is legality. This is not lawful, right?
After that.
Oh shit! What the hell?
The death penalty, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Neither family spoke after the execution, but many people in the public did. Nearly 100 people protesting outside of the correctional facility.
That's it. See, we support each other. Our family, us black people, there should have been thousands, 50,000, hundreds of thousands of black people out there protesting. We don't support each other. But if that was a white cop that killed him, we would have been all over it.
Even today. But the governor, through a spokesperson, well, they defended the execution.
Wow. Of course. Because he black, man, or so-called black.
No juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claim to be credible. 2 decades of judicial proceedings and more than 15 judicial hearings upheld his guilty conviction. Thus, the order of execution has been carried out.
With me now, St. Louis prosecuting attorney.
There's evidence, though. Isn't there evidence exonerating him?
Wesley Bell, who is also
Why did they let all
for
this
Congress.
20 years go?
Wesley Bell, you and I have spoken in the past
no
when
appeals
there was
before?
a chance that they would stay the execution, a fancy way of saying to continue for time to investigate the possibility that he was in fact innocent. What is your reaction tonight, knowing that that did not happen and he is now dead?
Justice, the interests of justice were not served. And as a prosecutor, as you know, as a former prosecutor, our job is not to get convictions. It's not to collect stats. It's to bring justice. And for us, for the folks that in my office, Lathrop GPM, Matthew Jacoby, Elena McMullen, Teresa Hurla, my office, the Conviction Incident Review Unit led by Jessica Hathaway. We're talking about folks who invested blood, sweat, and now tears to spare his life because it was the right thing to do. If there's the shadow of a doubt with respect to innocence or
that's true.
The integrity of a conviction,
convince somebody
at the very least,
over
that individual should not be executed.
Make sure it's a reasonable doubt.
And it is, to say disappointing would be an understatement. There were several opportunities on the timeline, if you will. Obviously, this case predated me originally. And so there's, 20 plus years ago, but throughout the appellate process. And now, once we have had an opportunity, there have been opportunities for decisions to be made that should have resulted in Mr. Williams' life being spared, and the system failed him. It failed all of us.
You have to wonder why there was such a vested interest in the speed of this. After this was a murder from decades ago at this point in time, now that this was underway, why do you think there was the haste to do so, given Your office said no. The victims' families said no. He was not asking to be released. He wanted time to investigate further and was even willing to plead guilty to lesser charges, which I might add, there were people who said, well, hold on, that must mean that he's probably guilty. What's your response to that?
What he was willing to agree to was called an Alfred plea, as you know, which he is not pleading guilty to the charges. He's acknowledging that there's enough evidence to convict him. But that was really for us to be able to buy time to be able to investigate his claims of innocence, because the execution date was set. If the execution date was stayed or just pushed back a few months to give us more time to investigate this matter, we may have been able to determine whether or not he was in fact innocent or not. But as you know, it's not just about innocence. It's also about the integrity of the conviction.
Right.
And there are serious, legitimate concerns about this conviction. And at the very least, he shouldn't be executed. That's what we're asking. This was not a dichotomy between execution or release. This was execution or life in prison without the possibility of parole. And then his team and him, and they would have time to vet his claims of innocence. But now we're looking at a family who had to relive this again. The Felicia Gale's family had to relive this all over again. And as the prosecutor, I can't look them in the eye and say the right person was punished because we don't know.
That's the scariest aspect of this, and also very difficult to maintain faith in a system that prosecutors, you and I know how impactful and how much we can control certain aspects of it. And to know that you were fighting to understand the integrity of a conviction, and that's done.
Wow.
We have to, our job, we have to recommend folks go to jail sometime. That's part of our job. But it's also part of our job to make certain there's safeguards to ensure that we get it right, even if that means 20 years later. And so even though this case predated me, it was, our offices still had an obligation to do everything that we could to make certain that justice was served. And we fought, it's tough. It's tough.
It is very emotional to think about what happened at 7 p.m. tonight.
This news is funded by viewers like you.
I really don't
Please support. Turn down Williams' bid for clemency followed a short time later by the Missouri Supreme Court rejecting his latest legal challenge. Williams is African-American. He was convicted in 2001 of killing a former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter, Leisha Gale, who's white, during a robbery. He was convicted by 11 white jurors and 1 black juror after the prosecution was allowed to preemptively strike out 6 other prospective black jurors. Williams always maintained his innocence. The jurors, the prosecutor, and the murder victim's family all oppose Williams' execution. For more, we're joined in Kansas City, Missouri by Tricia Rojo Bushnell, Marcellus Williams, attorney, executive director of the Midwest Innocence Project. Welcome to Democracy Now! We only have a few minutes, but it's possible that Marcellus Williams only has a few hours. Can you explain what you are calling for and what this case at the last minute is all about?
Yes, at this time, we're asking for what Marcellus Williams has been asking for 23 years, which is for a court to take a full and accurate review of the proceedings before it. Right now, for the first time ever, a few weeks ago, the prosecutor had to take the stand and testify under oath about his strikes that he used during the jury selection process. And at that hearing, he testified that he, at least in part, struck a juror based on his race. Yet right now, we have yet to have a court who will fully examine and review that evidence. We know that that's a violation of the Constitution. The prosecutor agrees that violated Williams' constitutional rights. But what we see is a system that's looking at finality over fairness, rushing to get to an execution.
See that when you violate somebody's constitutional right, a lot of shit, that everything is null and void at that point. That shit needs to be, the case really needs to be thrown out at that point, you know,
based on his race. Yet right now we
hours. Can you explain what you are calling for and what this case at the last minute is all about?
Yes, at this time, we're asking for what Marcellus Williams has been asking for 23 years, which is for a court to take a full and accurate review of the proceedings before it. Right now, for the first time ever, a few weeks ago, the prosecutor had to take the stand and testify under oath about his strikes that he used during the jury selection process. And at that hearing, he testified that he, at least in part, struck a juror based on his race.
Wow.
Yet right now, we have yet to have a court who will fully examine and review that evidence. We know that that's a violation of the Constitution. The prosecutor agrees that violated Williams' constitutional rights. But what we see is a system that's looking at finality over fairness, rushing to get to an execution date instead of taking the time to stop this execution.
And they did it. Oh, they did it in the election year too.
And look
something like Willie Horton, right?
At the merits of what is being argued.
And what was the main evidence against him? And could you talk about the advanced DNA testing or what it's revealed about the murder weapon?
Yes. So Mr. Williams was convicted based on what we know is a leading cause of wrongful conviction, which is essentially informant testimony. So this is a murder where there were no leads for months and months. And then at some point, the police suggested to the victim's husband that he should offer a reward. And it was only then, after a $10,000 reward had been offered, that the first informant came forward, a jailhouse informant, who said also that he wouldn't testify until he got the money. The information he provided was information that was essentially out in the public sphere from the newspaper, but he also provided information about another informant, a woman named Laura Asaro, who had had connections to Marcellus Williams in the past. She also not only had incentivized by the reward money, but police forced her to talk by picking her up on her own warrants and saying, you know, we can arrest you and charge you with these crimes unless you help us here. At the time of the crime, there was a number of pieces of forensic evidence, including bloody footprints and hairs found at the crime scene, all of which exclude Marcellus Williams. In 2015, however, Mr. Williams requested additional DNA testing of the murder weapon, which was a knife found still protruding from the victim's body. That DNA testing was performed. Male DNA was found on that murder weapon, and it excludes Marcellus Williams. He is not the person who left that DNA on the knife. Based on all of that evidence, the prosecutor reviewed the case, brought forward this motion to overturn Mr. Williams' conviction on the basis of innocence, as well as on the basis of these constitutional violations, including racial discrimination. But on the day before the evidentiary hearing, new DNA testing came in that showed that the DNA on that knife could be consistent with the trial prosecutor's DNA and the trial prosecutor's investigator. At the evidentiary hearing, we've now learned that they mishandled that knife. They touched it without gloves in 2001 repeatedly, essentially destroying any potential probative value this critical evidence would have, which is what the prosecutor now also concedes was a constitutional violation.
So, Tricia, who is in charge at the U.S. Supreme Court of this case? What has to happen today?
So the stay motions go to Justice Kavanaugh, but the courts are going to be reviewing.
Oh, Kavanaugh. Oh, the dude that Trump appointed. Interesting. The scandal guy. These judges, man, the Supreme Court motherfuckers ain't shit either, though. They're really not. You know what I'm saying? This is some discriminatory racist shit to me in my eyes.
All of the cert petitions, the requests that the Supreme Court take on the case, as well as the motions to stop the execution. There are 3 petitions pending before the U.S. Supreme Court right now. The first is regarding the governor, Parson, had dissolved what was called a board of inquiry that was created to review all of this evidence. He dissolved it, even though Governor Eric Greitens had appointed it. So the first is regards to whether or not he was able to do that. The second is whether the federal courts should have reopened the case to allow this new evidence of racial discrimination in the jury selection to be heard. And the last one, filed last night, is about what weight should the prosecutor be given, his concessions be given. And we know that the U.S. Supreme Court has already granted review of a similar case, the case of Richard Glossip out of Oklahoma, where the Attorney General there said the same thing, that constitutional error occurred here and we shouldn't execute him. And so for those same reasons, the court should hear this case
Tricia
as well.
Rojo Bushnell.
Damn, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. That's a bad look. That's why I don't, that's why I don't be voting. I don't get all hyped up with all these politicians, all this person. This voting shit is bullshit, man. And they talking about news conference, execution of, like, that shit is foul. Why are you having a news conference? Y'all killed an innocent man. Really? Let's hear Fox. Let's see if Fox is biased real quick. I'm gonna play. This is the last one I'm gonna play.
I got so frustrated with ads on YouTube. I was watching more commercials than content. Privacy.
We are now under an hour away from the execution of Marcellus Williams in Bonterre. The Supreme Court just moments ago allowed Missouri to proceed with its plan and has just rejected 2 separate appeals. The convicted killer has maintained his innocence, leading to a host of legal maneuvers. Fox 2's Jeff Brenthal is live outside of the prison right now with what we're learning about those preparations that are now underway. Jeff.
Yeah, Mandy, those efforts, as you mentioned, to spare his life have continued right up until this very hour here. Williams convicted of the 1998 murder of Felicia Gale. The state of Missouri, though, now moving forward as they prepare for this execution scheduled to take place soon after 6 p.m. Now, there have been demonstrations taking place in other parts of the state, as well as this demonstration in downtown St. Louis today. The victim in this case, a former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter, was stabbed 43 times, according to investigators. In University City, a memorial still stands for the victim. It appears there were fresh flowers on that marker today. Police said Williams was committing a break-in and Gale was stabbed as she interrupted the crime. It took months and a reward offer to generate tips that led to Williams' arrest. A lack of DNA evidence, questions over witness testimony, and concerns over racial bias were all factors raising doubts. But investigators say critical testimony from Williams' girlfriend was delayed because she feared for her life, saying she was threatened by Williams. Governor Mike Parson denied a request for clemency, saying Williams had a robust criminal history and was found with the items stolen from the victim. Here's what one death penalty opponent told us this afternoon.
I oppose killing.
Can you tell me why?
I don't want to live in a society where killing seems to be the response to when people do bad things.
Yeah.
We have a governor who calls himself pro-life, but he wants to kill.
A spokesperson for the Department of Corrections shared with us a final statement from Williams. It reads, "All praise be to Allah in every situation," followed by 3 exclamation points. Now, the corrections spokesperson also telling us that Williams was given his final meal at 10:53 this morning, and it included chicken wings and tater tots. The spokesperson said that Marcellus Williams will have a religious leader with him and a mom who was also his last visitor as the state of Missouri prepares to carry out this execution soon after 6 o'clock. Reporting live from Bonterre, Jeff Bernthal, Fox 2 News.
Man, Shaq, what do you think? What up, Shaq? What do you think about this, man? What do you think about this travesty of justice, man? Exactly what that shit is.
Yo, what's up with it, dog?
What up, man?
Damn, boy. Yep. Yep, you're dealing with monsters, man. With monsters, you can't expect nothing less but monster behavior. You know what I mean? Mad dog behavior, man. For them, to sit there and do a play-by-play detail on the man, damn.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Damn, dude, they like this is a motherfucking like it's like Madden or something, dog. Like it's fucking like the, you know what I'm saying? Like the Bears
Don't
game.
bring me no last fucking meal, bro.
That's what I was thinking. Like
That's like insult. When you bringing me a last meal before, whoa, what?
Wow.
Come on, man. This shit is that's what I'm saying. It's like, man. I mean, like I said, I don't know. From the information I had got, man, it seemed like the dude wasn't necessarily. They didn't have enough evidence to even convict the motherfucker, but they, I don't know. I don't know if he did it or not, but damn, if the prosecutor even come back and bring the information and saying that, hey, the DNA there's no DNA matching for him doing it, then what's the point of convicting and holding somebody for something that the evidence, and I thought in the court of law, I thought you're supposed to prove the reasonable doubt.
No reasonable doubt at all. I know.
Right. If there's no reasonable doubt, then you know what I'm saying. Obviously, they had they veins and they determination was fixated on making somebody pay for this crime or whatever that was heinous crime that was committed. But my thing is if this guy was supposed to be innocent, then who really killed her then? You know what I'm saying? They didn't try to, you know.
They ain't trying to, you know what I mean? It's like, oh well. But see, and then y'all, this is the white lady. I thought y'all was, you know what I'm saying, was all for y'all white women. I'm confused. But see, that's like that Willie Horton shit. As long as you put, you know what I mean, a black face on something, and it's all good. This is like I got to go back to the Central Park
I
Five.
say I don't know. I went around the situation, so I don't know what was the high stakes and stances that was surrounding the stuff, because they like to bring up your past. Oh, he's pretty much it's funny to say he was a menace because they had to bring up his previous records and stuff, but
Why they always do that, especially us?
I don't know, man.
To try to give them to make
it's like you never it's like you
make them feel sympathetic towards you
What'd you say,
getting
Frank?
killed. It's to make them feel sympathetic towards you getting killed. That's it. That's how that works. You know what I mean? That's why
it's no humanity in it, bro, because they don't treat you like you a living being. They treat you like you just a specimen, a product. It's expendable life. For like a power struck, ego struck, you know what I'm saying? Individual, man. In some of these situations, like I said, I guess it's warranted, eye for an eye type show.
That's true.
But if it's a reasonable doubt, like I said, man, and the prosecutor come back with information and data and stuff that's saying that this person could not be possibly the alleged suspect,
right,
and or killer of this particular one who committed this particular crime. I mean, I don't understand what do you gain? What do you gain if the prosecutor comes back with the information and the Supreme Court they want to, do nothing on it?
That's what I'm saying. Is there some money? Do they get some money for that shit? Like, that's some foul shit. That's some foul ass shit.
Like you said, man, Frank, some of these lawyers, judges, and stuff like that, man, attorney generals and stuff like that, some of these people make a name off. They pretty much make a claim to fame off big high profile cases like this, and especially so it ain't a lot of it ain't got nothing to do with, some of it got to do with justice, but some of the inner workings, ego, pride,
right,
maliciousness, because if they ever, that's what I'm saying. You could have had them still. Because they apply for like pills and shit, and you denied the pills and shit. But question to me is, who was this lady? Was it somebody, a personal? Was it a family member to somebody that was on this case or something?
Facts. That's a good
Not
question.
saying she shouldn't have got justice, but I'm saying if that's reasonable doubt that someone else could have possibly did it, then what's the point of locking somebody else up because all this hearsay at that point is hearsay.
Mad hearsay.
It's hearsay.
It really is not supposed to hold up in court of law like that.
Because even the information I've got, just some of the back, I heard that it was, like I said, it was a government informant, like, or one of these what they call them, these niggas that be what they call them? Them informants, what they call them? They informants, but I think it's another name for them.
Snitch. Not a snitch. No, I would say an informant. Somebody gets paid. You talking about somebody?
Yeah, somebody get paid to do that. Yeah, somebody who actually a criminal. See, that's extortion. So it's a criminals that actually become informants. So they either give up information, whether they are put in certain circumstances deliberately to either feed information or get information out of somebody who they may be targeting, and they take the word of this criminal as a informant. And that's what I heard in this case, that it was a foreman saying that said that he was the guy that did it. You know what I'm saying? And man, I don't know, man.
Right,
That stuff
right.
like that be too slippery, slopey stuff, man.
Man, that's what I be saying. A lot of twists and turns and shit. You know what I mean? That's real shit. Oh, the sun. Hold on.
You said what now?
It's the sun right here. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on.
Collaboration is smoother than ever.
Like that. Okay, hold on. Okay, my bad.
We are going to follow some breaking news now. All eyes are on Colombia, as this evening the state of South Carolina is set to carry out its first execution in more than a decade. Freddie Owens was convicted of
See, what's up with this, Shaq? I just stumbled upon this. See, you see, it's not a coincidence. Why another brother that got killed too recently? What's going on with all this?
Well, yeah, I looked at. I think it was like, I think in the state of Missouri alone, I think it was like 3 other people around this year. I think, but I don't know what I don't know what the circumstance
all
surrounding
black.
it was.
They're all brothers too, right? And y'all wonder why we be on the justice system. Y'all wonder why we be on police. Y'all wonder why we be on like fuck, man.
Sometimes they get it wrong, and it's like, well, damn, you got time to change it. Why? What's the point of you being stubborn at this time to try to? This is somebody, somebody possibly could be innocent. I mean, wow, you know what I'm saying?
But see, that's what I'm saying. You know what I noticed? The more and more I noticed this new era, new 2020, all this shit going on. The more what's the name people are very, very you know what I'm saying? People don't you know what I'm saying? Appreciate people, man. People like really desensitized, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're dealing with people, man. That either people that, like you said, they commit crimes, and when they murder people and kill people, man. I mean, unless it's absolute, like it was a self-defense situation. But if it's just like something you plot and you just went and just did something to somebody, like awesome, I don't. Damn. But some of these, like I said, some of these judicial systems in our country, man. Some of them get it right, and some of them, it's like the ones that get it wrong, they get it all the way wrong, though. It ain't like it's like they get it all the way wrong, though.
Like fuck.
How do you get it all the way wrong, though? I can see if you make a mistake, you done lock somebody up, okay, 10, 20 years, because I think he been locked up since 1998. I think this happened in 1998, but I don't know exactly when he got it. He got convicted in 1998.
It's a long time.
So I wonder how long have they been trying to appeal? How many times have they? But every appeal, no, actually, matter of fact, man, that's what we need to look up and see who is this last person on this case, this judge or whoever attorney on this case, because obviously the attorney ain't been on this case since '98. It's impossible, right?
Oh no, damn.
Because previously, like I said, they've put in for appeals and they've held off, I guess, the executions and shit like that.
But when did they put it on the appeal on this one though? It's like they should have years ago. Man,
I think 27. I think 27. I don't know. I don't know when the last appeal was denied.
That's fucked up.
But the prosecutor and the defendant, like I said, they put in a motion to dismiss all charges because they found out evidence that states that says otherwise, bro. I'm trying to understand, why would you continue that? What is it? What is it?
I mean, Kamala. I mean, you got both these tough on crime motherfuckers running right now and shit. You know what I'm saying?
But they really ain't tough on crime. They tough on crime when they want to be, though. When they want to be, Because I guarantee you, if you look at some of these workers, and you're gonna see some of the people that they let get off that probably was guilty, and they got off. They let them off.
Right.
Then people that may seem guilty because of maybe their background, but the evidence ain't necessarily there. But I'm like, wow, man.
I can see
It's like when they get it wrong, they get it all the way wrong, man. Like
all the way wrong. It's like, what the fuck? Innocent people, bro. Like, damn.
I mean, like I said, I keep bringing up the Maya Moore situation because don't know a lot of people talk about stuff like this, and because it's just it's gut wrenching. But the guy that she had, would help finally get free. He was locked up. I think he was locked up on a 50-year sentence, but I think it was a murder too. I think he did like 23 years or some shit. But she had been working on his behalf for like 10 years, and she finally able to 2019, 2019, 2018, some shit like that. Finally able to get him, you know what I'm saying? He was able to get exonerated. But man, that's got to be something tough to be locked up for something you didn't do, bro. And then that alone, you locked up, you on death row, and man.
I know, huh? That shit is foul.
And like I said, each state is different. That's why you can't, and it all, like I said, it all depends on the individual that's involved in the situation, man. With the judge, you know what I'm saying, the attorney general's office,
exactly,
the prosecutor, the DA, district attorney, state's attorney.
That's it, exactly. Why they not talking about who the judge, right, and who that was in this case?
Two separate murders. After his first conviction, he was placed in the Greenville County Detention Center on a 24-hour hold. That is where he killed his cellmate, Christopher Bryant.
He's crazy then. A 24-hour hold that means you're you know what I mean? That you're evaluating you for being 5150. See, they give you prison time and all this shit, and they give you these crazy sentences, but when you're actually crazy, aren't they supposed to send you to some kind of place, bro? Like, yeah, that shit is crazy, man. It's just all about money and shit because they know these prisons and shit. A lot of them are privatized now. You know what I'm saying? And there's so much money in investing in prisons. You know. You see what I'm saying, Jack?
Yeah.
Still a lot of money in that shit. Like, straight up. Well, shit.
Lee was in jail on a minor traffic offense. Well, before he killed his cellmate, Freddie Owens was convicted in the murder of Irene Graves. She was a single mother working 3 jobs to care for her children. Working overnight at the old Speedway on Lawrence Road in 1997 when Owens and another defendant robbed the place, killing Irene in the process. Well, Fox Carolina's Justin Doherty is live in Columbia now where that execution will happen. Justin.
Haley, we are just outside the Department of Corrections headquarters here in Columbia. Just off to our left is the capital punishment facility where that execution will be carried out this evening. Within the next few
Where's the capital punishment for the government when they fuck over the people, right?
2 hours, Freddie Owens will have his final meal here in Columbia and then taken to that chamber for that sentence to be carried out. But Freddie Owens has been on death row since 1999. His execution planned for that time, but because of appeals and motions, his execution has been delayed. Also, the fact that the state of South Carolina has had trouble acquiring the drugs to carry out a lethal injection execution. So there was decades of legislative work to make sure other methods were added, as well as a shield law, which really keeps the transaction of those drugs private because no drug company wanted to sell the lethal injection drugs to the state if that transaction was made public. So for now, that transation is private due to that shield law.
So what, they got
and as
illegal
you
drug
mentioned,
or
this
something?
execution will be the state's first in more than a decade.
Yo, look, hey, Chad,
Hold on,
look.
what?
What kind of drug? What the fuck is this? Motherfucking rat poison or something? Like, what the? How can these? Why don't they
Boy,
want to
I'm
take
telling you, these
this
motherfuckers be the main motherfuckers committing criminal acts, and they want. Boy, I tell you, boy.
Do you see that? But see, we got to be the face of it all the time, though. You know.
2011 was the last time this sentence was carried out. But Freddie Owens has been convicted of murder in Greenville County on Irene Graves, a 41-year-old single mom with 3 kids. Then prosecutors say in a 24-hour holding period from that conviction to his sentencing, he killed his cellmate, Christopher Brian Lee. And again, we know that Freddie Owens will be executed tonight at 6 o'clock. He was given the choice between which method he wanted to die. It was shooting, his firing squad, electric chair, and lethal injection. He gave that power over to his attorneys to allow them to choose for him, and they decided he will die by lethal injection. Now, all of this comes after yesterday when his attorneys filed.
Attorneys pick for, okay, we'll pick how you die. That's fine. That's supposed to be attorney.
A last-second motion with a sworn statement from his co-defendant at the time, Stephen Golden, who said that Freddie Owens wasn't even present at the time of that crime. But the Supreme Court ruled yesterday evening they will not delay his execution any further. They denied that.
He might be innocent as damn. So you see how they do that?
Hold on, what? See, this stuff is alarming. That why they keep denying it. That sure, I mean, if it's so, what evidence proved that he did it though? What they don't never tell you what proved that he did it.
Yeah,
So they'll say, oh, well, he was convicted by 12 jurors. Okay, but what evidence presented for them to sway them to come with all of them came with a guilty verdict? Man, see this stuff, man. What is the details, man, in this case, man? Because he's saying that his co-defendant had a sworn statement said he wasn't even there. So how did they even, what was the process? Damn, Frank.
What was the process then? Damn.
But they say he ended up killing somebody when after he got locked up for this too, right? A cellmate though.
Cellmate. But what is okay? Charge him for that then. I don't get it.
That motion.
Why is he got to?
The attorneys then releasing a statement
That,
saying
like,
that
could have been, like I said, they could have been a fight that broke out, and he got the best of that. So
right.
That's what that could have been. He was fighting for his life on that one.
Especially in there, places like that.
Right.
There's all types of shit. Hard surfaces, fucking bunk. There's so many things that you could fucking. You know what I mean? In corners and anything. You know what I mean? It can happen to you. You could die. You know what I mean? Land on the concrete. Right.
And for a crime that he did not commit. But we were able to sit down with the sheriff at the time of that crime, retired Greenville County Sheriff Johnny Mac Brown. And we asked him if he is confident that Freddie Owens is the person responsible for this crime. And he said he has no doubt.
Right, Shaq?
I don't regret anything that we did to that investigation because my guys and girls investigated it. There's no question that the evidence pointed to him as the guilty person. So I'm comfortable with that case. And there was nothing in the appeals that I could see or could hear or knew about that he had any reason to get a new trial.
100% confident jury made the right decision. He's the one.
Absolutely made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the week, we've also been able to speak with Irene Graves' daughter, Ensley.
Public opinion check? Court of public opinion or what? That's some public opinion shit, dude. Oh, you got the motherfucking police chief opinion. Like, oh, motherfucking what, bro?
So say
you know what I'm saying? It's an opinion, bro. Words don't mean shit, and especially in the so-called court of law. That shit's burnt out, man. These motherfuckers are savages, boy.
Graves, we asked her how she feels leading up to this moment this evening where her mother's killer will be put to death. And she said she really doesn't have many words for it, saying that she was just 10 years old at the time of her mother's murder. And she's thankful for those who made this decision for her.
Well, Justin, you've actually been selected as part of the media to be present during the execution. So what exactly does that entail?
Well, there will be a number of people there inside that capital punishment facility. I will be one of them. I've been selected as one of 3 media witnesses, myself, the Associated Press, as well as a local print outlet. But according to state law, there are 3 media representatives there.
Look, Shaq, that's the prerequisites for being an anchor person. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that, you know what I mean? You could be able to withstand somebody getting executed. this is just dehumanizing, man. This whole society is just like animals get more love and care and compassion than you know what I'm saying, so-called people, so you could be politically berated, you know what I'm saying, and humiliated and all that for a news feed or for, you know what I'm saying?
Inside that chamber for accountability as well as representatives of the public. And so that is according to state law. I've been selected as the electronic local media. And so wherever that crime is committed, the local media there from that area will be there inside to represent the public and again for accountability, as well as who else will be in the chamber there this evening. We also know that the warden will be there, a representative from the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, a representative from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, and the warden. We know that religious leaders will be there as well, and the defense attorneys. And we have been able to speak with Irene Graves' family. We know that her daughter will not be there to witness that execution, but her daughter does tell us that her husband and her brother will be there to witness this. In Columbia, Justin Dory, Fox Carolina News.
Thank you, Justin. Of course, we will continue.
Wow. Yeah, that's some bullshit right there. Yeah, that's really crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? And then what you think about the Eric Adams getting indicted? What you think about that, Shaq? Damn.
What are you getting indicted for?
Play a little bit right now. Hold on. Play Lisa Cabrera. Shout out to her. Y'all check out her channel. You know what I'm saying? She be spitting some stuff. Fair use 1976 under the Copyright Act.
Want help? It seems that they have sealed this indictment as of late Wednesday.
Like they sealed puppies, right?
So it does not go into what exactly is in the indictment. So they said he was indicted by a grand jury on federal criminal charges, according to people that wanted to stay anonymous. The indictment detailed the charges against Adams, a
Why would they want to be
Democrat,
anonymous for?
and was sealed late Wednesday.
How does that work?
According to people who spoke to the Associated Press, under the conditions that they can remain anonymous. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan declined to comment. So the indictment was first reported by the New York Times. Always knew that if I stood my ground for New Yorkers, that I would be a target. I became.
So mandatory vaccines. Okay, then right. That's standing your ground for, punishing a lot of public workers and and firing them. Right. Okay. And some of them aren't even back to this day. That makes sense. Yeah, you stand your ground for New Yorkers. All right.
Doing
a lot of that.
Adams said in a statement that implied that he hadn't been informed of the indictment. So if I am charged, I am innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of my strength and spirit. In a speech recorded at his official residence, Adams acknowledged that some New Yorkers had questioned his ability to manage the city while he fights the charges, but he vows to stay in office.
He wasn't facing any.
I have been facing these lies for months, yet the city has continued to improve, Adams said. Make no mistake, you elected me to lead the city, and I led it. It was not immediately clear when the charges would be made public or when Adams might have to appear in court. The indictment marks a stunning turn for Adams, a former police captain who won election nearly 3 years ago to become the second Black mayor of the nation's largest city on a platform that promised a law and order approach to reducing crime. Much of last year, Adams was faced with a growing legal peril with multiple federal investigations. Yes, I do remember back in 2023, towards the end of the year, he was under investigation, but they went completely silent and you really didn't hear too much more about it until now. But it's just strange how he's been indicted, but they sealed the indictment and won't even tell you what the charges
Very
are.
interesting.
So anyway,
Very
the top advisors producing a drumbeat of subpoenas, searches, and high-level departures.
Wow.
As City Hall is into crisis. In the last 2 weeks alone, the police chief who oversees the country's largest police force and the school chancellor who is in charge of the nation's biggest school district both announced their resignations. He had repeatedly said he wasn't aware of any wrongdoing and vowed as recently as Wednesday afternoon to stay in office. Adams is expected a tough primary election next year, faced immediate calls to resign from many of his other Democrat challengers are telling him to step down. So Brad Lander, the city controller, said the indictment marked a sad day for New Yorkers. Well, yeah, but what's in the indictment? Especially painful for so many Black New Yorkers who put their hope and faith in this
Black New
mayor.
Yorkers. Wait, hold on.
So
what the fuck does any of that got to do with Black New Yorkers? Him getting indicted. He don't speak for no black motherfucking people, so called. So you mean so when Bill Clinton got that head, or Monica Lewinsky, did he speak for all white men? You see that, Shaq? What you think? You see how I did that? Like, what are they talking about? Oh, Black New Yorkers. What the fuck? That's on him. That motherfucker colluding with Russia or whatever they said, or colluding with whatever they were saying with one of them countries, I forget. You know what I'm saying? What that mean? You know, that's on him. That ain't got nothing to do with me or you or whoever the fuck, Tom, Dick, or Harry or Mo or the guy from what's the name? Those guys from Pet Boys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I just think this is very interesting. You know what I'm saying? But they were saying that he was getting paid by, I forget which country it was. So it's just like just mad corruption, you know. Corruption like a motherfucker, man. I just never seen nothing like this under any. I mean, this administration is great. This is bad. You know what I mean? It's just all types of things are imploding within that mug, man. Nobody really wants. The media is not really going in on that though. This is the Trump administration. The media. I just think it's very interesting. All right. All right. Look, check this out. Look. So fair use. I'm switching topics. Fair use 1976 under the Copyright Act. This gives me allowance to report this for education and commentary purposes. All right. So, oh shit.
So Venezuelan gang members moving into Chicago have caught the attention of the city's local counterparts, bringing tensions to an all-time high. Our next guest is a former gang member who now runs a violence prevention program and warns that the city may go up in flames, fearing an all-out turf war. Tyrone Muhammad is the founder and CEO of Ex-Cons for Community and Social Change, and he's been kind enough to join us. Now, Tyrone, thanks so much for joining the program. So let's first, before we get into the criminal element, talk about the money that's being spent, because I know you talk about the community and building those Black communities and Hispanic communities in Chicago that were affected before this crisis. They're spending $464 million on this crisis. Can y'all be using that money somewhere else?
Damn.
You know, I don't know any household, Lawrence, where you yourself would pay my mortgage before you pay your own. That would be considered crazy. So that's the very fact.
Shaq, what you think, man? Yo, $464 million, bro, to fund that shit. Damn, bro. Like, but I thought Chicago was bankrupt. I thought Chicago didn't have no money like that right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn.
Fact that our government believe with all the issues and systemic disinvestment that's happening to all these communities throughout America, that you were in our face when, for specifically Chicago, where Black voters have voted for one party consistently and religiously, that party would not listen to the voters or the community to say, us first, we should be first, put us first. And the very notion that anyone would have the audacity to think that non-citizens should go before the Black community and the most impoverished communities is asinine.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a slap in the face. So that's the first part of this problem. The second problem is that you got the gangs that are coming in now. Trinidad de Agua is now fighting with the local gangs. And this is on top of an already problem right now. You got robbery that's up 12%. Aggravated battery is up 13%. Motor vehicle theft is up 43%. And you inviting them in to go against now the local gangs already in Chicago. Explain to us what's happening on the ground.
So let me just say this. We just heard about a vice president who said she specialized in locking up and arresting transnational gangs, while the very party that she's a part of, the policies with the sanctuary cities and the border crisis, she support. And now the influx of it is, which is oxymoronic at the same time. Now we have to fight transnational gangs and the influx of these men who we don't know where they come, what crimes they committed, and the violence that they've been involved with thus far. With that being said, we're on the front line every day, making sure that our communities are safe. And it's really not about the Black community. This is just the beginning, because violence anywhere is violence everywhere. America should be afraid that this can happen in American cities, one of the biggest cities, one of the biggest tourist attracting cities in the country, that we can watch this happen all over the country and not be outraged. And this is the policies, sir. This is what I'm saying, Lawrence. It's the policies that has affected our community and has turned Black people, Black communities against the current administration.
You know what, Tyrone, you hit it on the head. Just because they invited them into our communities to stay, took our resources in Black America, that doesn't mean that the criminal element is not going to spread nationwide. And you've been on the front line of this. I look forward to having you back, Tyrone. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page.
That is a good ass point. Let me play this real quick. Fair use. Fair use 1976 on the Copyright Act. This gives me allowance to report on this for commentary purposes. Fair use.
If you've ever thought, damn, clubs are way too expensive, well, then you need to know about Tacoma Golf. We've blended premium materials, Scandinavian design, striking performance, and boom, that's Tacoma, baby. Check them out at tacomagolf.com.
America has allowed gangs to enter our country.
The migrants that are coming, they're taking over every block right now.
The city of Chicago is going to go up in smoke. It's going to go up in flame.
Gangs in Chicago are angry over the influx of migrants and criminals in their city. They say money that should be going to the African-American community on the South Side is instead going to what they call non-citizens, and warn that turf wars between Chicago's gangs and groups like Venezuela's Tren de Agua Nicaragua could see Chicago, quote, go up in flames. Photographer Matt McDermott and I traveled to Chicago's South Side to see what was happening for ourselves after we heard about a police report last month that the Tren de Aragua gang had taken over an office building there. We spoke to a number of young, hardcore gang members, as well as gang elders who have retired from the life, and just regular citizens who are very much part of the community. And they're all furious at the estimated $500 million that's reportedly been funneled toward new migrants in Chicago since 2022. And they aren't happy either about what they say are Venezuelan criminal gangs that are leaving the shelters and spilling out into the South Side into abandoned buildings. I spoke to Tyrone Muhammad of Ex-Cons for Trump, who runs a street patrol and violence prevention program. He's gone straight since his days as an enforcer for the Gangster Disciples. And he said the situation is very tense on the South Side as turf battles between the local gangs and Venezuelan migrants heat up.
It is impossible to release gang members and criminals into our country through the borders and broken walls, and then infiltrate them in our community that's already impoverished, that's already broken, that's already disinvested. And when the black gangs, the leadership in the black gangs in Chicago get fed up with the illegalities and the criminal activity of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is going to go up in smoke, it's going to go up in flame, and it's going to be nothing that the National Guard or our government can do about it when the bloodshed hit the streets, blacks against migrants.
Zach Massey did time in state prison with Tyrone Muhammad, although he's only 27. He's a leader on the streets and said he's disgusted by the money going to Venezuelan migrants at the expense, he says, of the African-American community.
Because damn, that if you give, you put fundings in the right areas and shit, a lot of these motherfuckers, man, you know what I'm saying? What's that called? Prevention programs, trade center program, trade centers, job placement, you start doing stuff like that, man, shit will turn around, but they ain't gonna do that though. They ain't gonna use that funding for American black people, so-called black people.
And I finally actually talked to him on the translator app, and he told me all the things that he got going on, how they help him get a car, apartment, clothes, link. So it's just I just be looking at it like they ain't got no Social Security, no where they come from. They probably not even here legally.
They get right here. They get quick housing, quick funding, food. They get cars with no license. They can't even read English and stuff like that. So they get all these perks when they get here, and we still here starving. So what we gonna do about it? Are y'all gonna listen to our cries?
Corey Rogers was a Blackstone gang member for years. He drove us around the South Side and showed us areas where he said Tren de Aragua and other criminal gangs are setting up shop and what he called showing the flag, which means brandishing their weapons in front of a housing project.
The migrants that are coming, they're taking over every block right now in this area. Right now, you don't see them because they come out at night. They said they took this courtway over probably by last week. He said it was 100 Venezuelans standing out in the front right here.
Terry, is it an abandoned building? How do they just take it over?
They just when you take over something, you just stand outside, and that's called showing the flag.
What kind of guns?
Semi-automatics, anything you name, you're gonna see it on the street. These boys got so many big guns that if they're 150 pounds, the gun is bigger than them. I swear.
But they know how to handle it, right? They know what. Tell me about the fact that they're criminals, right? This is a criminal element. These aren't just a bunch of Venezuelans that walked over the border and used to be gardeners back home, right?
Right.
Gardeners.
They come from the gangland. They come from rougher gangs than us.
One gang member who only gave his name as David on a particularly dangerous drug dealing corner on the South Side did not hold back when he talked about the influx of criminal gangs from other countries into Chicago.
The real issue is that America has
My boy got a blunt road talking to the media. My boys, man, I feel him on that.
allowed gangs to enter our country. Gangs that they would consider terrorist groups. that are formed here, we are terrorist groups. If we're in the gang, they let terrorists in our country.
The Reverend Corey Brooks also said to me he's disgusted with Democratic policies and said that Black Lives Matter, for example, has never reached out to help him or any.
Of course not. Of course, Black Lives Matter hasn't, because that's not for us. That's the, you know what I mean? Black Lives Matter is a part of this. They're a part of the Act Blue and the Democrats and the pumping the fist and all that. Yeah, right. That's a LGBT organization.
Anyone else trying to improve conditions on the South Side.
Chicago is a blue city. Illinois is a blue state. There's no doubt about it that the majority of our neighborhood, they're going to continue to vote Democrat until they wake up.
Stupid.
The good news is that there are a lot of people who are responding and waking up and saying, listen, we're not going to take this. We're not going to stand for this. We're going to vote differently. And they're now accepting some of the values that I hold dear and some of the values that the conservative Republican Party holds so dear. And so for a lot of people, it's not about the person, it's about the policies that we're fed up with. And as a result, I think this is going to be the largest amount of people who have voted for the Republican president in Chicago that we've seen.
I also spoke to one Venezuelan man who was so scared of being identified that he put a hoodie on and refused to face the camera. He told me in Spanish that he had to flee the building where he was being housed because a Venezuelan criminal gang took it over. He said if they knew he was talking, they'd end his family's life back in Venezuela with one bullet. You know, what struck me the most—
How would they even know which family he has in Venezuela? All them damn people. Then that's crazy though, man. All right, I'm gonna play one more and I'm out, man. Shit. All right. That's the Shaq. What you think about that, man? You peep that? What you think about that? Let me play a little bit of. No, you know what? Hold on. Let me play a little bit of Gematria Effects real quick, man. That comes real quick, man. Okay, shit. Hold up. Shit. Nah. Yeah, that shit looked hella psyopic. Let me play a little bit of this real quick. Let me play like 10 minutes of Gematria Effects. Check out Zach Hubbard.
If you've never seen the movie They Live, it's about magical glasses. They're called Hoffman lenses. And when you put them on, you can see the truth of this world. And that movie came out on Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy's, a.k.a. Diddy's 19th birthday. He was born November 9th, 1969. And as you can see, They Live came out November 4th, 1988. And if you've never seen that film, it's about how the secret enemy of the world is Cable 54. And it's not until Cable 54 is destroyed that the people of the world break out of the spell that they're under. And everyone right now, so caught up in the Diddy drama, is under the spell of Cable 54 as they watch Diddy fall at age 54. And we're going to get to how he performed next to Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin on Saturday Night Live back on May 9th, 1998. back when Jimmy Page was 54 years old, and he sang his Come With Me to the tune of Led Zeppelin's Kashmir about watch his rise, watch his fall. And here he is now falling at 54, just like R. Kelly fell at 54. And as we've been talking about, the same Jesuit prosecutor who was after R. Kelly is part of the team that's after Diddy. And that prosecutor went to Georgetown, founded by 54-year-old John Carroll. Again, Georgetown, the nation's first Jesuit university. 27 remain. At their height, there were 54 Jesuit universities in the United States of America. And again, the number is no joke to the order. Look up their headquarters in Italy. It is at Building 54, the Church of the Gesù. And we're also going to get to the point about how that song that Diddy did with Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, how it came from the Godzilla soundtrack. And what year did Godzilla make his debut? It was none other than the year 1954. The same year Roddy Piper was born, the star of They Live. Again, Roddy Piper, the famous wrestler who also had an acting career. Again, if you haven't seen They Live, he's the star of the movie. The actor born in 54 is the actor who destroys Cable 54 in the movie. And let me just let me put up date of birth and death. His date of death is definitely symbolic. He was born April 17th, 1954 was Roddy Piper. Same year Godzilla came out. And he died on July 31st, which is the day in history the founder of the Jesuits died, Ignatius of Loyola. More recently, the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year ended on that day. And you might recall Bill Russell died on that day. Right after the finals was San Francisco, where Bill Russell went to the Jesuit University. San Francisco University, played for the Celtics. That was right after the Celtics lost to the Warriors, perfectly synced with the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, when the Jesuits are from France. But yes, Puff Daddy, again, 54 years old, born on November 4th, the day that They Live released. And again, Jimmy Page was born January 9th, 1944. So obviously he would have been 54 years old, May 9th, 1998, when he performed at Saturday Night Live with Diddy. And I also want you to see that at Roddy Piper, it was September 27th, 2013. That's the day in history the Jesuits were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church. For the record, that's the day leaving 95 days left in the year. And the Jesuits' original mission was to stop Martin Luther and the 95 Theses. And it has everything to do with why Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on the 95th day of the year. He assumed the name.
Don't let the now destroy the forever.
Martin Luther, after the Protestant Reformation leader. But again, Roddy Piper tweeted on that day that the film was a documentary, the film that says Cable 54 is the enemy of the world. And notice he wouldn't even live 2 full years after that. Another celebrity who exited this world prematurely. And again, I just want to put it out there. Stephen A. Smith, yesterday on his podcast, predicted that Diddy will end up dead in prison, just like Jeffrey Epstein, because there's too many powerful people connected to him. So remember, Stephen A. Smith called that out, and we don't even want to talk about what happened to Stephen A. Smith's mom not that many years ago during the NBA Finals when he's Mr. Basketball. Paid millions of years to validate rigged sports that are controlled by these same Jesuits. So let's go through this. And we're going to get to how it's important. If you guys aren't familiar with Led Zeppelin, again, Led Zeppelin says that they wish their band was remembered for the song Kashmir. Of course, everybody associates Stairway to Heaven with Led Zeppelin, but Led Zeppelin, in their own opinion, think Kashmir is the greatest song they ever made. And if you don't know the song Kashmir, I bet if you put it on, you'd be like, oh yeah, I definitely heard this song. And it is it's the guitar riff that's used for Diddy's song Come With Me, back when he was Puff Daddy. And in the lyrics, Mr. Sean Combs says, hear my cries, hear my call, lend me your ears, see my fall. And again, perform this on Saturday Night Live in Manhattan, where the World Trade Centers blew up, almost like the Juicy lyrics. And let's not forget, they got Osama bin Laden at age 54 on the 54th day of his age. And I'm telling you, he wasn't really to blame for those towers coming down. But after he says, see my fault, he sees, see my error, know my faults. And right now, the faults are illegal freak-offs. And we covered why they're using that term the other day. And we'll come back to that in case you missed it.
Freak.
But yeah, there was a younger Sean Combs next to a 54-year-old Jimmy Page on Saturday Night Live singing that. And notice it was May 9th, right? It was 5-9. You could also write the date 9/5 like 95, those Jesuits in the 95 Theses, but the 5-9 is important because, again, 59 is the number stamped all over Black history. Motown Records in 59. In 59th day of the years when Black History Month ends, and a million other things. But Bad Boy Records, of course, 59. The other year, Andre Harrell dropped dead at age 59. And, you know, it was announced by a bad boy DJ who had the 59 connection. We covered that, 4 or so years back. Maybe it was more, time flies. It might have been 5.
Interesting. Very interesting.
5 years ago, but it wasn't that long ago. We just saw the death of Rich Homie Quan on the 5th day of the 9th month. And he was connected to Motown's hip hop label. But this 59 number, just all over Black history. Slave, Negro, Blues, Rasta, they all equal 59 in Gematria. We know what they did to OJ 59 days after the Super Bowl, announced during the Masters, when Ephesians 6 verses 5-9 are slaves, obey your masters. Again, this 59 thing, so big with Black history. So that was the day, again, that Diddy's performing on SNL, May 9th. Keep in mind, Kamala right now, 59 years old. Her and Diddy both went to Howard University, and there's an undeniable connection here. Again, they say Kamala climbed the political ladder by doing sexual favors, starting with Willie Brown. You know, like she might have been in some of these freak-offs, but there's an undeniable connection here of what's been going on. And I'm going to show you just how perfect this ritual was way back on May 9th, 1998. No doubt then even connected to Kamala before she became a household name. And realize this is the period of time. 1998 was 4 years after she started dating Willie Brown, and she was already climbing the political ladder. In 98 is when she became the assistant attorney general in San Francisco.
Right.
You know, before she eventually became the attorney general herself. But again, Kamala, 59 years old at the time of this ritual, the arrest of Diddy, who's part of the Rock the Vote. He created the Vote or Die campaign. In 2020, he endorsed Kamala and Joe Biden. And remember, when Kamala and Joe took office, well, we predicted why they were going to win that selection. It was so easy to see why Joe Biden would become number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. But we said right after they got inaugurated that when Joe's 81 and Kamala's 59, you'll see them transition power. Exactly what happened by the numbers. 42 months after they took office. And don't forget, Diddy equals 46, like Joe Biden became number 46. And just, again, Kamala says she'd like to bring back the assault weapons ban, just like how in 94, Joe Biden spearheaded the assault weapons ban. Part of the recent headlines is that one of the illegal AR-15s Diddy had, because of the barrel size, had 59 rounds in it. It's the same numbers over and over. Okay, so now the actual song Kashmir. Kashmir is in India, right? Kamala is half Indian. Kamala, half Indian. Her mom died on the 42nd day of the year. Another number stamped all over Black history. Puff Daddy has that 42, just like freak-offs. Again, the transition of power from Joe to Kamala after 42 months of them being in office. But notice, Kashmir came out February 24th, 1975. This is the Led Zeppelin song about India. That song came out 112 days after Diddy's birthday. He was just a kid back then, but 112 days after his birthday. And remember, he's born into power because his dad worked for Frank Lucas and was killed by the numbers. And we talked about how Frank Lucas equals 106, just like Cassie, like Black, going with Diddy getting arrested on the day, leaving 106 days left in the year. And realize his father was murdered at age 33. Diddy, his celebrity began in 91 when he became a big concert promoter in New York. And remember, his first major concert, 9 people got stampeded and died at. And that happened 54 days after Diddy's birthday, December 28th,
I remember
1991. So it'll be the 33rd anniversary this winter.
I remember that, man.
But Kashmir came out 112 days after Diddy's birthday, like Kamala Harris is 112. And keep in mind, so is Catholicism, so is mathematics. The Jesuits, Cable 54, operate in 112 countries. Of course, Diddy has the group 112. Look at what day Kamala's Indian mother died, on the Vatican's birthday. The Jesuits served the Vatican. She died on February 11th. Again, that's the 42nd day of the year, but the majority of the world writes that day 11/2, like 112. And again, keep in mind, she died right when Obama became president. Obama wasn't even a month into office with Biden.
Right.
You know, Obama takes office at age 47. Biden won in the 72 election, which was also the 47th U.S. presidential election, was part of the federal government for 47 years before becoming president himself. And now Kamala aims to become number 47. Her mom died on 2/11 when the number 211 is the 47th prime. It's like Bill Clinton took office 211 days before his 47th birthday. Number 47, very special number with authority, the presidency.
Get NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV to watch up to 4 games live at once with Multiview. Watch.
And especially the city of D.C. So yeah, if you don't know Diddy and Bad Boy Records, one of their big groups is 112. A lot of big songs on the radio in the 90s did 112 have. And with regards to Kashmir, the actual original song that's the sample for his Come With Me, where he says, "Watch My Fall," that song's 49 years old right now. 49 years and change. Turned 49 at the beginning of this year. And it's funny how that song did come out on the 55th day of the year because, you know, Diddy's on his way to prison at age 55. And, you know, when he performed that song with Jimmy Page, it was 55 days after Clive Davis's birthday, too, who helped Diddy start Bad Boy Records. So the end of 54, the end of Diddy, and now it's Diddy behind bars as he transitions into the next stage. But remember, Diddy was arrested 49 days before his birthday. And again, Kamala is the 49th vice president. And we talked about like how on the 4th of July, how Kamala and Biden were together greeting the nation, and Kamala spoke before Joe Biden. And it was weird that when Joe Biden got the mic after her, the first thing he does is goes, "Ho, ho, ho." It's like, what? Ho, ho, ho. Is it Christmas? Or was he talking about how Kamala rose to the top, you know, at the freak-offs? But anyway, we were talking about how that was 227 days after Kamala's birthday, which is the 49th prime number. And what's it called? Citizen something. It was the whatever citizen, whatever it is, that group that Diddy created for voting. It's also 227, and voter die is 49. But notice Kamala Harris, the 49th VP, her name is 49, going with Diddy getting arrested 49 days before his birthday.
Right.
James Harris, again, was the wrestler Kamala, who died 2 days before Biden made Kamala the VP nominee. Lotus flower, that's what Kamala means. Washington goes without explanation, where the feds are, who arrested Diddy 49 days before his birthday. Cassie Ventura, who's also central to this, is another 49. And again, a man with sex-related legal troubles in New York and a prosecutor. Isn't this the same story as Donald Trump and Kamala as well?
Mm.
The Diddy angle. But notice, voter die is 50 forwards, 49 when you run the alphabetical order in reverse. Again, if you're new here, this whole practice coin numbers into words comes from Kabbalah. It's called gematria or gematria. But Diddy was arrested 50 days before the election, 49 days before his birthday. And look at this. Going back to the performance, May 9th, 1998, it was 201 days after Kamala's 33rd birthday, as Diddy goes down 33 years after becoming, you know, starting his celebrity, Mr. Music Man in New York career in 91, shortly after leaving Howard. And again, 201. This is the number of the Jesuits, of the Illuminati. It's a number coded on many rituals we've covered in the past with Howard University, where both Kamala and Diddy went. But you just got to say, what are the odds that it would have been 201 days after Kamala's birthday that they're performing that song to the tune of Kashmir about India when Kamala's half Indian. Again, Howard University's 201, like Order of Illuminati, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Again, the Jesuit Order's 201. The Jesuits were created 201 months after Martin Luther penned the 95 Theses. Their order was preserved by Catherine the Great in the time of their suppression with 201 Jesuit priests. The first pope that is Jesuit is Pope Francis, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. By the way, his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201. The Jesuits are from France. The last French pope was the 201st. Again, the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, his name is 201, and the list goes on. And remember, the Jesuits were created in the 16th century, the same century the heliocentric model was created that says the sun is the center of it all. That matters because the word sun equals 54. Like how Diddy, a star, like how we're told the sun is the nearest star, Diddy says, watch me rise, watch me fall. Just like how all stars, from what we understand, what we're taught, all stars' life come to an end as well. We're seeing Diddy's celebrity power come to an end at 54. You know, this star is burnt out. And remember, the Catholic Church has celebrated the sun in the sky's birthday on 12/25 since the year 274 AD. The Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, is 274. And we saw that his arrest was exactly 274 days after the first Jesuit Pope's birthday, Pope Francis. Again, Clive Davis built Diddy, and the arrest was also 201 days from his upcoming birthday, which is the day MLK was assassinated in history, in a Jesuit ritual. And for the record, the nation's first major gun control legislation came exactly 201 days later in 1968. And they are making guns part of Diddy's federal charges. You know?
Right.
Again, Jesuit Order 54 like sun. And with regards to the song that he did with Jimmy Page, while Page was 54 years old, being related to Godzilla, remember, Godzilla comes from Japan, the house of the rising sun. And more recently, the last superior general of the Jesuits, Adolfo Nicolas, died in Japan. And you see how Adolfo Nicolas has the 54 and the 72, just like Jesuit Order, 54, 72. Again, sun equals 54. The sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. Adolfo Nicolas, also 225. He died on Cannonball Day, which is the day in history Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, was shot with a cannonball. It's the day leaving 225 days left in the year. So Adolfo Nicolas died in a perfect Jesuit ritual. And there's a lot more to it because it's perfectly synced with the current superior general and the Pope. And the 126 is big with the Jesuits too, because man is made in Genesis 126. It's part of the reason they did Kobe dirty on 126. Again, Kobe Bryant equals 41, dead at 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age, traveling from Catholic Mass. Not to mention Kobe's full name, Kobe Bean Bryant, 54, dead one Sunday before Super Bowl 54 as the Jesuit scandemic that was simulated with Event 201 took off. And let's not forget they buried him in an unmarked grave in Corona del Mar. Okay, this is also buzzing in the headlines that Diddy called Kalina Harper 54 times in a single day. That's one of the stories that's out there right now. Again, from the Pope's birthday to Diddy's arrest, 274 days. Celebrating the sun since 274 AD. The Catholic Church gave us the calendar and the language. The word sun means object in the sky, male offspring. Remember, the Catholic Church wanted to bring the people who worship the male offspring of God under their umbrella. You see how they did it over time, how all these things happen, and then they make a language that unifies these things. You got all the rappers. And I mean, seriously, who has a bigger Jesus piece than Diddy? Nobody. He's always worn the biggest Jesus piece in the whole industry because he's the richest guy there is. And then him and Jay-Z and Dr. Dre, and they've all been part of these mega Jesuit rituals. Deaths all around them all along. Pimp C on Jay-Z's birthday. Dr. Dre's son, 187 days from his birthday when they made 187 popular. And for the record, Society of Jesus equals 187, like Holy Roman Empire. That's the formal title of the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus. But okay, how about the song Kashmir, since that's the tune that Diddy's rapping over for Come With Me? Notice the 34, first of all. Kamala turned 34 the year that song came out, okay? How about 110? The word president equals 110, just like 47, which is also in Kashmir. Of course, she's running to be number 47. And again, she was born exactly 110 days after the Civil Rights Act. That passed July 2nd, 1964. She's born October 20th, 110 days later, the day leaving 72 days left in the year, a bit like July 2nd, 7-2. Remember, Jesuit order also equates to 72. 72 bricks on the dollar bill, 72 names of God in Kabbalah, 72 demons in the Goetia, the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, on the 72nd day of the year, and on and on and on. Diddy's father murdered in 72. You know, we just had it up here. Jesuit order, their last superior general, same numbers in his name. You know what I mean? Again, it's so redundant over and over. And doesn't it make sense? Sun equals 54. It moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. Kamala, she was still 33 when they performed. Thus, she was in her 34th year of life. Again, she turned 34 in 1998, shortly after the performance on SNL and the single released a month later on June 9th. And you know what's wild is from Diddy's birthday to the single releasing was 217 days. All this stuff with Kamala in 217, if you need to get caught up on that, it's an important piece. When Donald Trump went to the Vatican May 24, 2017, he gave the Pope a lotus flower. Remember, Kamala means lotus flower. That was 217 days after Kamala's birthday. When Biden passed the torch to Kamala on 21/7, that was 217 days after the Pope's birthday, again on 21/7. Whore Babylon equals 217. They say she rose to the top through sexual favor. And remember, she started a relationship when Willie Brown was 60 and she was in her 20s. And now she's about to turn 60 just in time for the 60th U.S. presidential election. The word order itself equals 60. And the first 10 years, the Jesuits were with the Roman Catholic Church.
Damn, hey, that's he's spent some facts right there. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this and I'm gonna get off.
Their order was limited to 60 members. Also, on Inauguration Day, one more time, Kamala Harris wore purple and a pearl necklace. They say it's because of her sorority, which I'm sure is true, but read Revelation 17:4. It describes the Whore of Babylon as wearing purple with a pearl necklace. And remember, Lisa Simpson wears purple with a pearl necklace in the episode of The Simpsons where she's the first female president. That episode came out March 19th, 152 days after Kamala's birthday. Remember, Kamala Devi Harris is 152. So is Joe Biden, and so is Sean Combs. Again, this is why he's chosen at this time. It's all symbolic. It's all planned long in advance. These people choose their pawn pieces, if you will, from birth, and they have the rituals in the script written out long in advance. So they had Diddy singing about, you know, how you'll witness his demise next to 54-year-old Jimmy Page on a tune that has to do with India, and then how it all comes together as the half Indian, half black woman.
You work as hard as your truck, and you have no time for down.
And notice what a big theme that is, right? Donald Trump, he just can't stop talking about, she used to just identify as Indian, so what is she? It's just, all of this stuff is just like, it's like, can you believe that we have to keep listening to this crap? I mean, Donald Trump's running on that. Who has bigger crowds? Just, it's like, God, people are really going to vote for one of these clowns? I mean, we live in a time where there are serious issues and problems, and they've existed for all of our lifetimes and beyond, and no one on the federal stage ever speaks about any of it. And now it's so bad that the level of discourse is comparing. It's like literally a pissing match about who's more popular.
Exactly.
I mean, and again, you guys, just the fact that look at, I mean, you look at people trying to talk about the election, right? How many viewers are they getting on their streams? Hardly anything. But look at how the whole world is just like on YouTube watching every streamer, except for yours truly, the only guy who called Diddy's demise at 54 and actually knows what he's talking about. But just all the people that are into all the tabloid stuff, there's so many people watching and so into this. They're so into the trivial.
Right.
And again, that's why when I do
the same thing I be saying, man, like, what's the point of you being on YouTube and reporting these stories just like the mainstream media. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta at least try to investigate or dig deeper or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But you know, we just regurgitate everything with the mainstream media reports. That's all. That's all it was. We're entrenched into this bullshit.
These videos on the seemingly trivial and meaningless, the stuff people shouldn't care about, I try to show you the bigger picture and how it all comes together and who's orchestrating all of this, who's got it all planned out. Okay, and just for this as well, notice how Godzilla has the 86 gematria. Jesuits equals 86 for the record, but notice the four base ciphers of Kamala Harris, 112. Again, the performance or the original Kashmir, 112 days after Diddy's birthday. Kamala Harris, 49, like Diddy arrested 49 days before his birthday in Manhattan, which is the 212 area code where the World Trade Centers came down. Again, Juicy, the Bad Boys song with Notorious B.I.G. was banned from the radio after 9/11. There was a list of banned songs if you weren't allowed back then. That was one of them. Because Biggie has the lyrics blow up like the World Trade. And remember, this arrest of Diddy was on what would have been the 119th day of Notorious B.I.G.'s age. Like how the majority of the world writes 11th of September 11/9. But yeah, Kamala Harris also has the 86, like Godzilla. This song was on the Godzilla soundtrack. From Japan, the House of the Rising Sun. The Jesuits are big on the Far East. Again, Sun Tzu, Art of War. There's no proof of Sun Tzu ever existed. The only reason people know about that book is because the Jesuit priest Father Ami out of France translated it. And if you don't know about that, the longest chapter in the book is chapter 11, the 9 situations, and it's 68 paragraphs. Chapter 11, the 9 situations. 68 paragraphs, like again in 1968, World Trade Center construction began. 911 made the national emergency dialing code. George W. Bush out of Yale, Skull and Bones. New York Jets, only Super Bowl winning season, because that's all rigged, just like 9/11, Patriot Act, Patriots. After a New York Jet takes out number 11, Drew Bledsoe from Washington State, when the World Trade Centers were designed by a Japanese American from Washington State. Kamikaze pilots like the Japanese on Pearl Harbor Day. When Pentagon construction began just before Pearl Harbor on 9/11. Again, all this stuff's been Jesuit ritual all along. The Twin Towers became no towers before they became one World Trade Center, 201, like the Jesuit order, like Order of Illuminati. Perfectly synced with Event 201 and the Scandemic, which changed the world, just like 9/11. Just like hip-hop music, just like all the things that these people are behind. They know how to create things that shift the world. And again, I'm not a hater of hip-hop music. It's just that commercialized mainstream hip-hop, you see the impact it's had on the world. And it hasn't been positive. And it's made a lot of people destroy their lives through trying to sell drugs and thinking they're going to be the next Jay-Z, only to end up in a cage. Or, you know, going out and essentially being a whore of Babylon and realizing no man wants to be with you because of your lifestyle choices in the earlier part of your life, et cetera, et cetera. Lil' Kim wasn't helping raise nice ladies, you know what I mean?
Oh, no.
But yeah, Godzilla came out in 54. Jimmy Page does it with Diddy at 54. At age 54, as Diddy says, watch us fall. And then you watch him fall at age 54. I'll sync with Kamala, who couldn't pass the bar until she took it at the Jesuit University in the Bay Area. And my guess is she never really passed the bar. And it's just like that lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, who's suing Diddy up and down. I notice his undergrad is City University of New York. City universities in every major city, and that's where people go to college who can't go into college. So if you can barely make it into college, I'm having trouble imagining you were ever smart enough to pass the bar. I really do think there's a lot of lawyers and judges on the world stage who never passed the bar. They just got chosen to, you know, have the credentials and essentially be puppets on strings and participate in these rituals that we see day after day. Just like I was talking about the judge yesterday who denied Diddy bail. He did it on the 251st day of his age, the 54th prime number. You know, did this guy pass the bar? Is he another one of these guys? Look at his birthday, 112. You know, are we sure?
112, the group 112. Don't they got a group called 112? Bad Boy that Puff Daddy used to manage.
That's not one of the members of 112 in a costume. You know what I mean? It wouldn't even surprise me. Wouldn't even surprise me. That's the same day Motown came out in history too, you guys. And don't forget what they did to the Prince of Motown, R.I.P. to Marvin Gaye, who sang some of the greatest songs ever made. And that's the thing too, man. It's just like they used to use talented musicians to sing songs of uplift, and now they're going to turn you into a gangbanger, a drug dealer, a prostitute, whether you're male or female. It's just
right.
You got the Queen Bee, Beyonce singing independent women, all this stuff. It's like all these people are being used to just break society more and more. So yeah, we see the fall. We see his errors, and we know his faults. The freak-offs. And again, if you don't know what they're doing with the freak-offs, we'll cover that as well. But just notice Kamala and Diddy both went to Howard. Look at what year Kamala graduated from Howard. 86. Speaking of that 86 thing, right? Diddy dropped out 3 years later in 89. And you see how Howard University has the 87? Just like Puff Daddy, like Justice, like how this whole thing synced with the Pope's 87th birthday. As we know, freak-offs equals 87. Howard University equals 201 and 93, like Order of Illuminati, like how Bad Boy Records was created in 93. And think about all of the deaths connected to that label. I mean, Death Row Records has some deaths too. You know what? Everyone's telling me that Diddy's in the movie Monsters Ball and he gets executed in that film. That Tisa Tells, who's obviously a puppet on YouTube, I see that Tyrone Blackburn's in her live streams dropping super chats left and right. Again, they're all part of some little scheme here, trying to keep everybody hooked in the tabloid news. If they don't have cable, just watch Tisa Tell. She's going to keep you up on all the latest meaningless gossip. Lying to you, telling you this is the people who took down Diddy. Doesn't have a damn thing to do with anybody other than the Jesuits.
Yeah,
it was written in stone. Has everything to do with why he was chosen, because of his father's assassination, because he was connected to Frank Lucas. And don't forget who they had portray Frank Lucas. They had Denzel Washington portray Frank Lucas, where Denzel go to school. Jesuit Fordham in New York. You know what? I even got. We're gonna have to go back and look at that in a second. I'd like to see. I bet you anything there's a perfect ritual with the release of that movie and Denzel. I bet it's just going to be clear as day. We'll look at it. But yeah, Howard University got the 231. That's the 21st triangular number, like Jesuits 21. And think about the 21st century. It started off with the bang with the 201 ritual with the World Trade Centers. Howard University 87, like Ignatius of Loyola. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, his name equals 231, 87, and 201. And for the record, school equals 72, like Jesuit order. The modern day education university system all traces back to Rome and the Catholic Church. Again, they built this world around us. They've given us the language, the calendar, pretty much the hospital systems as we know it, the education system. We're living in their world. People need to understand. Again, they're the sun worshipers. We learned in the science book that the sun is supposedly 93 million miles away. God's son equals 93, like crucifix, like Nazareth, like how science came out in 2012 and said Jesus' crucifixion date is April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year. Think about all the rappers, dressed up like Jesus over the years in the music videos. Tupac on the cross.
Puffy was on the cross in the Hate Me Now Nas video, right? Wasn't Puffy on the cross?
After his death on Remember the 5th of November, the day the Jesuits tried to blow up British Parliament. Again, we talked about that 1,000 times. Tupac dying on Caesar Borgia's birthday, where white Jesus comes from, who was the son of a pope, who was the main inspiration for Machiavelli's The Prince. And then Prince died, and then Tupac's mom was announced dead on the real Machiavelli's birthday. You just had the death of the ballerina whose last name is the Prince on the anniversary of Tupac's death. And what's crazy is from the day she was born to the day Tupac died was 616 days later, and Tupac's birthday was June 16th, 616. And then her mom died the next day. Here, and again, this stuff's going on all over, you guys. I got to slide off my They Live glasses for a second so I can find the one I want to show you real quick. Where's it at? Right here. This is in the news right now. The original trumpeter for No Doubt is just dead at a young age. He's dead at 57 when the big star of that group is Gwen Stefani. But look how old Gwen Stefani is right now, you guys. She's 54 years old. And the original member of the band who played the trumpet's dead, Gabriel in the Bible plays the trumpet. Gabriel equals 54.
Mm.
You don't think Cable 54 is behind that as well? He's dead on September 12th. 12/9 like 129. 129 is 201 in base 8 counting, just like when Diddy performed next to Jimmy Page, who was 54 years old at the time. May 9th is the 129th day of the year. 201 days after Kamala's birthday. For the record, Georgetown equals 129, the first Jesuit university.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've covered so many things out of Howard University over the years. The whole George Floyd 201 ritual. And look at that, the 201 George Floyd ritual. Now the ticket is Kamala and Tim Walz. It's funny how Donald Trump, who's Jesuit educated, who went to Fordham, is running against a woman with a VP named Tim again. Last time it was Tim Kaine and Hillary Clinton. But remember, Tim Walz and Kamala were like for the burning down in Minneapolis in the 201 ritual.
Right.
And again, I'd have to go back and look at all my notes, but I know there was plenty of Howard University influence in that as well. The people they had speaking on the TV, the people going to speak out in Minnesota. There was a whole lot of Howard University. George Perry Floyd equals 201. So many 201s in that, including his death being 201 weeks after Adama Traore, who was killed on the 201st day of the year in the same fashion in France, the original home of the Jesuits. And then down came the Albert Pike statue out of the protests. And then 201 days later came January 6th when the Confederate flag flew in D.C. and Confederate equals 201. And Lincoln, who freed the slaves, said the Civil War was perpetrated by the Jesuits on behalf of the Roman Catholic Pope. Let's not forget Catholic Pope equals 201 either. Oh, yeah. Again, just the judge thing yesterday, just another 54. And again, he called Kalina Harper 54 times in one day. It's just like in the O.J. Simpson trial. They had to, the secretary had to say she witnessed Mark Furman call O.J. Simpson the N-word 42 times in a single conversation. I mean, like, how would that even be possible to know? Can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, eavesdropping on the conversation? She's like, I got my pen and paper ready. Every time he says N, I'm going to do a tally. And, you know, you lose track of keeping track of the ends. But this lady, all these years later, she's like, oh yeah, I still got it right here. I tallied it, 42 N-words.
I know, that's some bullshit.
Just for the record, you guys, Orenthal, 42. R.I.P. They did him in the slavery joke from Ephesians 6, verses 5-9. Slave 59 and 76. OJ dead at 76, 59 days after the Super
OJ was
Bowl.
in Roots.
Master 76. Slaves obey your masters. He's from Mr. San Francisco. And again, just the way they love to create black villains in society, right? And how easy it is to get like everybody to hate these black villains, and people don't see the game. They don't see how it perpetrates the stereotypes.
It is a stereotype.
Again, for decades, the media has perpetrated stereotypes against black people, that they're dangerous, they're killers, they're drug dealers, they're rapists, they're sexually aggressive, they're bad. The media has put that programming out there. It used to be way more blatant and over the top, but over the years, they've still kept with that programming. You watch channels like Fox News. They commonly go to a commercial break and they're just showing footage of somewhere of black people like vandalizing something or beating somebody up or stealing something. It's like, what do you think Fox News is doing with that? Always showing just surveillance footage of black people committing crimes. Right? There's no surveillance footage out there of white people doing the same stuff. And then you see black men more and more on that network too. It's
I be telling people, man. That's what I be trying to tell y'all, man. It don't take no white dude to be saying what we're saying. That's what I'm saying, dude. That shit is fucking bullshit. That media just be perpetuating it's false narratives to perpetuate stereotypes, to program people's mind of us, to keep people not liking us, to keep people not supporting us, to keep people from not supporting no reparations, not supporting any kind of policies to benefit us. I'm telling you, man, he's right. Like it's Fox News is the word. That's why I be, man. Fox News is bull to be on that perpetuate, and then CNN. They're racist to you, but subtle, and then they protect the people that don't give policies to you or don't do nothing for you. That's what CNN and MSNBC do. Fox perpetuates the stereotypes and pushes stereotypes and narratives about you. That's a fact. The Fox News is burnt. I don't see how people don't, like he said, people still falling for that black old boogeyman stereo. Like, come on, bro. Like, even with the black exploitation films and back in the day, like, come on. That's all. It's all to shape narrative and the shape people's public opinion about it. It's all it is.
I guess it's a big long line to see who can be the biggest Uncle T. But Stephen A. Smith, he's always going on there. You talk about the biggest Uncle T on TV. Stephen A., who predicts Diddy will be dead in prison. You must have seen the script.
Why would you say that, though, too, right?
Hey, Stephen A., where's your mom at? That's right. She died for the NBA Finals by the numbers. R.I.P. But yeah, again, it's not just Diddy, guys. It's all over the place. It's Gwen Stefani's trumpeter, dead while she's 54. Gabriel, the trumpeter from the Bible. Because remember, the Jesuits gave you the Bible, and they numbered the verses, and they called the fourth book Numbers. Because all is number. Again, 59 rounds in his sawed-off AR-15. It's got a short barrel or something, they said. I forget exactly why they said that this one was illegal. Something about the barrel size. And again, I don't think there's any language like that in the Second Amendment. Again, the purpose of the Second Amendment was for the American people to have arms on tier with the government so they could be on the same playing field if tyrants took over the government. So the Second Amendment's already, it's been totally undermined and fallen way short. I mean, the way the laws are, how can you even protect yourself with a gun at this day and age? Here in Washington State, you're supposed to have all your guns locked up in a safe. What if it's the middle of the night and someone's busting into my house? Hold on, burglar, I got to unlock the safe first. Give me a chance. I'm driving down the highway. I got haters in the world that are threatening me. That's like a real story for me. Might be in trouble if they find me because legally I got to keep it in two separate compartments. The bullets need to be in this lockbox and the gun needs to be in this lockbox. Hold on, haters. Give me a chance to put my weapon together here. Now I should be able to pull out the fully loaded bazooka. The fully automatic AR. I should be able to have it all because the military has it, and that was the original purpose of the Second Amendment. All this crap they try to feed you, and you got people cheering for it. What about Sandy Hook? Yeah, what about it? Exactly 201 months after the Dune Blaine massacre, which it was compared to. Yeah, what about it? You couldn't tell it was a psyop? Dune Blaine, a random shooter targets first graders. Same thing in Sandy Hook, all by the numbers. That was synced up with the Aurora, Colorado shooting on the 201st day of the year. Can't figure out what's going on. That year, the Batman movie put out a toy map for Gotham City, which a neighborhood area had always been called South Hinckley. And for the first time ever, they renamed the area on the map Sandy Hook. And then those things happened together. I'm sure it was all just a coincidence. Sure, it was all just a coincidence. Bad Boy Records. You think Diddy came up with that name? I guarantee you Diddy didn't come up with the name Bad Boy Records. But when Clyde Davis and the crew, they put it all together, they had it all written in stone. And, if they do end up throwing Diddy in prison and he stays there, don't be surprised if the headline rolls around about 5 years from now when he's found hanging in the cell, like Jeffrey Epstein.
Popeye's crispy, juicy, tender signature chicken is the meal your craving deserves. And now you can get 3 pieces of the chicken you crave for just $5.
When he's 59. Don't even kid yourself. And again, just the whole freak-offs thing,
Freak-off.
Puff Daddy and Freak-offs, the exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. One of them's 156. 9/11's the 156 prime. Comes shortly after 9/11 anniversary. Again, their big song, Juicy, taken off the radio. Again, all synced with the Pope's 87th birthday, 42 in Black history. The one cipher where it doesn't overlap, of course, Puff Daddy's 39 like Biggie died on March 9th, but Freak-offs is 48, and this was the headline one day after his arrest, which was 48 days before his birthday. And again, the federal charges came 275 days after the Pope's birthday, one day after the arrest. The media is hyper-focused on the $46,000 spent on one of the freak-offs. And the Catholic connection's probably not an accident. Who's known for getting freaky with the little boys? And don't forget how they did it with George Floyd, too. Right after the 201 George Floyd ritual, they had to come out and tell you that George Floyd's second grade teacher remembered what a sweet little cute boy he was. And the teacher's name was Waynell Sexton. And George Floyd was killed on the 225th day of his age. And the next day after that news broke, the Catholic Church of Minnesota settled for the sexual abuse of children for $22.5 million. And then Derek Chauvin got 22.5 years in prison. And then the whole story was pointing to 2025. And then Amazon put out the movie Lockdown 2025 about the power going out and a race war breaking out in 2025. And by the way, in They Live, Cable 54 is supposed to have total control of the world by 2025. Spars 2025, the Deagle website from a decade ago saying crazy shit's going to happen in 2025, showing a major drop-off in world population. Let's hope it's not true. But you see how it could be true. I mean, everyone's asleep at the switch. They've given us all the clues in the world. I mean, the little thing they just did on the 201st day of the year, taking down all the computer systems, causing all the mayhem. Everyone's sleeping at it. Doesn't see what's going on. We've been out here pushing hard every day, trying to get it out there. You'd think in the day age where everyone has one of these in their pockets, they'd tune into the person who's actually making all the right calls and predictions and not some just random celebrity online who just popped out of nowhere who's just got nothing but gossip. But the reason, again, we know the reason it is this way. The algorithm pushes the trash. And the thing is, too, it's not just the algorithm. It's the fact that most people's brains have been chemically fried and they don't resonate with truth. All they resonate with is shit. Hello, Taylor Swift. Again, this Chester the Molester comic, it ended in 1989. That was the year that that's also man, so many things happened in 89. That's the year of the Gerald Ford prophecy of the first female president, but it's also the year Diddy dropped out of Howard, where Kamala went. And remember, Gerald Ford made his prophecy about the first female president, saying she won't be voted in, but an old man will die and there'll be a female vice president. He said that in the Herbert Hoover Library, and Kamala was born on the exact same day Herbert Hoover died, October 20th, 1964. But isn't it funny, this viral thing about Diddy supposedly having 784 dildos in his LA mansion? I mean, you just know this is just like Kabbalistic bullshit. I mean, how could you possibly have 784 dildos? Not even that many pass through, the LA airport in a day. But anyway, Chester the Molester, 784. In Satanic Gematria, 33 years is 784. How long he's been a celebrity for. 784 has a square root of 28, where Sean Combs and Diddy are 28 in the base ciphers.
All right, man. Look, check this out, man. Good looking out, man. Let me get my ass out. Wait, let me play this one last thing real quick. Shout out to Gematria Effects, Zach Hubbard. Y'all check him out, man. He be spitting some fire. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. Let me see something. All right. What the hell is the volume at in this motherfucker? Wow. That's the type of stuff that they playing. That they go to school, man. Wow. Wow.
This is the author here, Miss Yumi Steins, Groomy Steins, if you will. And she's been quoted as saying she'd be okay with an 8-year-old reading this book. Once again, we see the top-down effort to sexualize children. Too young for social media, not too young for a pornographic sex guide. Got it.
Wow.
Yeah, you read that right. This book here is just nominated for a Prime Minister's Choice Awards, and it also won Children's Book of the Year Award. When it says guide, it's not kidding.
Damn. That's foul. That shit is hella foul. Let me get my ass out off here though, man. That was the last little video I had, man. Shout out to everybody that got into the chat. Everybody salute. You know what I'm saying? Junior Coltrane, Doc Ball, Shannon. Who else came on after that? You know what I'm saying? Joshua, Maximilian. Salute. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Shaq, thanks for coming on. You know what I'm saying? Word. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, y'all can catch me XX Frank Nigga XX on here on Instagram and Frank Jones 8115 on Instagram. You can check Shaq underscore Edwards on Shaq Edwards on Facebook. Shaq Weiler on YouTube, and I believe Shaq Weiler also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. All right, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you know what I mean? Good looking out for tapping in, y'all. Shaq for tapping in, you know what I'm saying? Word, y'all we gotta stay vigilant, stay watchful, man. Make sure that the government don't keep taking advantage of us and watch these kids, man, and make sure that we got a future to and they have a future, you know what I mean, to actually live in, man, and they could have plenty of health, wealth, and happiness, you know what I mean, throughout the years, man. So until next time, man, I'm gonna come back on in a couple more days. Salute. Stay vigilant, stay watchful, and I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace, man.